So we've got a few of our best out, but I mean that's this time of year. It's sort of the luck you have and how many you can get on the park at any one time.
And Brendan, as good as the middle half of the year was for you, you still were under pressure to solidify your top 5 finish when you went to Baldwin in round 16. That was an absolute cracker of a game in that you hanged on. Can you just talk about the pressure of that game and the relief coming into knowing into the last couple of weeks that you had secured this final spot?
Look, it's an interesting one. You always have your self-belief that it's all in the week. During the week, that's where you do all the work. And game day, I mean, as a coach, you sort of, some guys think they have all the influence in the magic wand, but really, generally, you can only sort of get that 10% influence over a team on match day with what you're doing. So we were pretty confident going to those games, but obviously, second half of Baldwin gave me a little bit of a scare the way they came back, but we sort of put ourselves in a bit of trouble early days by losing the first 2 games of the year, especially the Noble Park game. I thought they was going to come back to haunt us at some point, but we're lucky that we've got through, go through. But at least you're not sitting on your heels when you're playing for finals every week. It allows you to go out and test yourself every week and make sure that you get the job done, which is a good way to be going into today's game. And
we always talk about your leading forwards in Baffy having playing it from the goal square, and it allows Jake Hammond to roam a bit up forward and take the marks on the wing when pressure's relieving. But what about around the grounds? You've got a strong defence, and most of the time when you're playing well, you do use the corridor really effectively. Is that something you want to get on top of, Roval, is just to try to own the corridor throughout the match today?
Look, it's great that we get to play on a bit of a bigger ground. It's an interesting competition, the Division 1 grounds. They're all postage stamps except for Roval and South Croydon, really. So the expanse of the ground should help us, hopefully, with our ball movement in that we might be able to shift the defence of the opposition as much as we can. And that's regardless of whether you're playing on a ground that's 130 metres long or 160 metres long. That's the aim of the game, to keep it all moving around. So hopefully the vaster expanses will help us today in that, owning the corridor or owning the switch, one or the other.
Brendan, obviously 12 months ago the side was able to have a couple of good finals wins. Does that give the side, do you think, much confidence that you were able to do that last year in 2 elimination finals, or do you think that's it doesn't really play too much of a part now, seeing it's 12 months on?
It's an interesting one. It's 12 months on, but a lot of the guys experience that, so they know what it takes to win a final. I don't think you can discount it, but then at the same time, obviously, 12 months on, different personnel, different opposition. It will play some sort of factor, but is it going to be the be-all and end-all to win today? I don't think so.
Well, it should be a great game in any case, Brendan, out there at Central Reserve today. Rowville versus Blackburn. Really looking forward to it. And we thank you for your time. Well, just before I let you go, Brendan, out here at Tormore, it's very sort of gloomy and overcast, but no rain at the moment. What's the weather conditions out there at Glen Waverley at the moment for your game?
It's quite overcast. They've had a bit of rain out here. It's a little bit soft underfoot out on the ground. The edge of the centre wicket, where it's sort of the water runs off, is a little bit greasy, but the centre wicket itself is actually quite solid underfoot. So, I mean, for this time of year and the amount of rain we've had over the last 4 days, and obviously having games on here yesterday, the ground has held up pretty well. So, it doesn't matter. Come finals, you can play on a netball court. You just got to get the job done.
Well, hopefully the rain does hold off this afternoon for the spectators at least, even though I'm sure that you won't be too fussed either way, Brendan. But thanks for your time again on EFL Sunday, and all the very best this afternoon.
Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.
Thank you there to Brendan Allen, coach of Blackburn. Might get a quick tip on this one, guys, for this afternoon. Who's going to advance through to next weekend?
I'm going to go with Blackburn. I think both sides' form's been a bit patchy of late. Not obviously Blackburn a couple of weeks ago, as we've already mentioned, getting the job done over Baldwin, which solidified their finals position. I think Rowville, they've had a very good year, Rowville, but it just looks of late that maybe some of their players obviously going down. It doesn't seem like they've had the best, probably the best preparation, and I think Blackburn probably get the job done today.
Confidently tip Blackburn. I know Glenn Waverley gets a bit soft on the wings because they have a big centre pitch. He was talking about the centre wicket they have at Central. So I hope the ball doesn't get out wide because it can get stuck, so to speak. I don't think they can move it as quickly if they play out wide. So I just hope they use the corridor as much as possible and it's an open game. But I think Blackburn would be too good because they're still... Rowville's form has not been good. So in terms of the last 4 weeks, it's hard to ignore the fact that they're struggling of late. And Blackburn, they've been competitive against Vermont for 3 quarters last week leading into this match. So they're not far off their best, I think. So I'd have to tip Blackburn.
Yeah, I'm tipping Blackburn as well. I think they're perfectly prepared and ready to have a real assault at the flag. I don't see them winning the flag, but I reckon they could make a preliminary final. I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that they could go deep into this September campaign.
Doncaster would have to be favourite next week, though. You'd have to say.
Indeed, whoever plays Doncaster would be the underdog for sure. But I just think this Blackburn side are in it up to their necks as far as certainly today, and then even next week. I don't think they're without a chance. But time will tell. Let's have a look at third division now, of course. Division 2 is the game we're here for today. That'll be previewed very shortly in the lead up to our match day call. So we're going to cast our attention to third division. And today, of course, it is the second semi-final between Ringwood and Scoresby, being played at East Burwood Reserve, a great place to watch finals footy, of course, East Burwood Reserve. There's always a fantastic atmosphere for finals out there, and today should be absolutely no exception. And Ringwood, undefeated. They haven't lost a game this year. Can Scoresby be the side who finally can find a way to get it done against this powerful Ringwood side who have taken all before them this season? We're going to speak to Brett Rowe, the coach of the Ringwood Football Club now, who joins us on the line. Good afternoon, Brett.
How are you guys?
Yeah, very well, thanks. And a big day, obviously, for the club. It's been a great season for the footy club. So much expectation, I guess, coming into this final series. But you've had the week off last week. How have you looked to prepare the players? And I guess, in a way, obviously, you want to keep their focus fixed on the game, but at the same time, sometimes players can overthink it when they have that week off before a game.
Yeah, look, we prepared as best we could. Like, we had a pretty light night on the Tuesday, Thursday, and we trained the Saturday morning to try to keep it pretty similar to playing game day. So I'm pretty confident the boys have prepared as well as they can. I haven't overthought it. Definitely, like really spoken about just enjoying the moment and where we're at, and I've got no doubt they're really ready to go.
And the big question is, you're going to have to answer this one. Trent Farmer, with his arm injury, had surgery recently. How is he going? And is the expectation that if you do get to the grand final, he'll be ready to go?
Well, he's training. He's back training. So, look, at this stage, we don't know. Like, the surgeon's left the door open for him. Like, his injury with the 2 plates is saying it's a 4 to 6 injury. So if we get there, that's 4 weeks. So there's still a chance. So I would say he's probably, let's say, he's 50-50 at this stage. But he is training, so he's running and training. So he's ahead of schedule in that regard. So we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, I think every neutral would want to see him there. He deserves to be the skipper on the day. But looking at your other forwards, Daniel Jordanoff, I really like him. He's at the ability to fly in from the side for the marks and how he can push upfield. But when needed, he's not a bad option to kick some goals. So where is the goals and the structure coming from? Does Jordanoff have to play a bit deeper in the forward line, or who's the full forward this week?
Yeah, look, we really love what DJ brings to the table. He's really got a good work rate, good tank on him, so he's always presenting for us. He has that ability to play high to give us that outlet kick, but also the ability to push deep and give us that target deep. And look, from that regard, we think we've got a lot of avenues down there. We've got that unpredictability now without Trent there, so we've got Mitch Burden, who kicked 6 in the last game against Baronia. We've got Nathan Cairns that can go forward. We've got a lot up there. So Declan Hill, we've got some options up there. So we think we can, we're not as predictable. So we think that's a real strength for us at the moment.
Yeah, I think watching the Scoresby game on tape, I think it was more the structure of your midfield and the way you were able to switch from defence, transition football was quite clean. I think that's the strength of your scoring power, and it's not going to come down to having a leading like Farmer. I think it's the way that you move the ball through the midfield that's been the strength of your side this year. Is that something that you would agree with, and that's the best part of your football?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we really like the way we move our footy. From the back half, we've got the way we like it to move, and as you said, like when it's clean, we have that ability to get it forward, and we don't necessarily have to use that lead up. We can use other options as we come forward. So, but no doubt, the way we move the ball from our back half is definitely our strength.
And watching against Scoresby, you managed to slow them down in the opposite way. That they weren't switching the ball as effectively as you seemed to be on the day. I know it was windy. What do you take out of that last game in that what you were able to nullify them from getting quick movement at times?
Yeah, look, I think what surprised us, it seems they seem to go into like a negative mode. They seem to want to just control and possess the footy a bit than what they were doing in the first few quarters. So, and that just played into our hands. I mean, because with our pressure game, it just invites the pressure from us. So, once we started the pressure, I guess they kind of may have gone into their shells a bit. So, but I would expect they'll be a different side today in regards to that. So, we're expecting them to move the ball quick and probably use it as quickly as they can for probably the whole 4 quarters.
Brett, you just touched on it there, your pressure game. I know we've spoken a few times to you about it this year. Obviously, pressure, it's all 95% mental game, and the fact that you've been able to go through the season undefeated just shows that it hasn't really dropped off throughout the year. How do you feel like that's progressed from round 1 to now?
Oh, look, it's constantly got better, but look, we've had games where we've been a bit off, which is, I guess that's going to happen when you're constantly just wanting to be up for the whole, 18 rounds. So we have those lapses where we're not for a whole 4 quarters. We're like, in spits and spurts. So, but it has been able to maintain. The boys have, they've got great belief that if they lift their pressure when it's required, that we can run over sides. And we've been really good at finishing games off this year. So if we can keep the pressure, maintain it for the whole 4 quarters, especially over this final series where it's going to be tight, we think it's really going to suit us.
And how much confidence does it take from your defence? Obviously, the last time you played against Scoresby, you guys kept Dale Hare, so I think it was only 1 goal. I think you guys were outstanding down back. Do you think you're going to go into this game with a similar approach?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at it, Scoresby probably the best scoring side, whereas we're the best defence. So it's a really good matchup. What's going to happen today? Our back 6 are unheralded. There's no big names in there, but they just get the job done for us. But a lot of that is brought up from the pressure up the ground. It makes their job a lot easier. So it should be. It's going to be a really tough contest in that regard.
Well, Brett, just if you can paint the picture for us a little bit, the scene at East Burwood today, how are the crowd rolling in, the conditions, the weather conditions, how does it all look out there?
Yeah, at the moment it's a bit cloudy, a couple of blue sky spots. Ground's in good nick. I think there's a bit of a breeze blowing they're always blowing to the Burwood Highway end, but it's not too bad here. It's pretty good actually. So it's looking forward to it. Hopefully the rain holds off, so then we should be all right.
Yeah, hopefully it's good conditions, as you say, prevail, and it should be a great game of footy, whatever happens. All the very best with it this afternoon, Brett. Good luck, and thanks for your time on EFL Sunday today.
Yeah, no drama. Thanks, boys.
Thank you there to Brett Rowe, coach of the Ringwood Football Club, the all-conquering Ringwood, who have not lost a game this season, and Scoresby will try to get the job done today, but they all know they're up against it. But we've seen it before, Gavin, over the years. We've seen teams go through the season undefeated, and then finals, it is a funny thing.
Yeah.
The pressure can build, and the expectation builds, and often you get a team one team feels like they don't have any expectations on them, and they play with sort of a reckless abandon, if you like, and sometimes that's all it takes to get the win.
Well, scoreboard always plays a big factor in finals. During a game, you sort of, I reckon Ringwood would be confident from round 1 to round 18, they'd get the job done. But if you put them in a final and Scoresby had a 2-goal lead halfway through the third quarter, they might just be looking up at the scoreboard going, oh no, what's happening? Is it going to happen like last year again when they conceded against Heathmont? I think they had the game seemingly won, and they allowed Heathmont to win a final against them. So they've sort of got some, some ghosts of finals past. Some incidents that they've lost a couple of close ones. They couldn't get into the grand final in recent times. So their confidence, as much as they are the best team this year so far, there might be some issues if they were, scoreboard-wise, they were trailing going into the second half.
Yeah, definitely. I think, Gavin, it was this corresponding game last year, wasn't it, when it turned against Park Orchards for them, obviously going down by a point. So, and then obviously the Heathmont game, talking earlier about best finals matches we've seen, I think that's probably right up there with just the best of them, that Heathmont game. So it definitely, I think it'd be impossible for it to not play on their minds a little bit, but it's a new season. I think, it's going to be a cracking game. I think if anyone is going to beat them, Scoresby are pretty much the only side I can really see on their day getting it done. So,
well, it might be better to save the win to 2 weeks' time then and do it on the one day where it counts.
I guess that is, the position Ringwood have put themselves in by finishing top is if they do have an off day today, well, that's what you earn. You earn that by getting the double chance. So that if by some chance, as good as they've been all year, if they just happen to have an off day,
but
they've got that double chance.
They didn't have an off day in the finals last year, and they lost twice. So, so it was a funny one. They had off 5-minute patches in the last quarter they had. So, but I think they're a different side. They seem to be moving it a lot more smoothly this year than I've ever seen them. There's no reliance on a Trent Farmer to do the job. I mean, he's just cream on the cake. So if he comes back, I just think he'll be putting himself on the team sheet to get the medal he deserves if he came back. Because when you got a broken arm, if the defender's not touching you inappropriately, should we say, come game day, he's going to be it's going to be an interesting one if he turns up on grand final day.
The last couple of times Ringwood have made finals, it's been off the back of a really dynamic second half of the year where they've come home like a train, and after a slow start, and they've been in good form. But sometimes it's that you get that situation where a team like Ringwood in recent years, they've sort of been playing a series of elimination finals in the back half of the year, having to keep winning. And often teams, when they get to the finals, or they get to, in Ringwood's case, a preliminary final last year, can they go again? Can they keep doing it?
True.
This year's been completely different. They've been on top basically from the start. I think they're a much better side than the team that's competed in finals the last couple of times.
The same thing happened with Sydney in AFL, didn't it?
Yeah,
the momentum just broke in the finals.
Yeah, because they'd had to basically win. They had to win for so many weeks, and that's been the case with Ringwood because of their slow starts in recent years. But this year, they haven't put a foot wrong. They started the year in awesome fashion. They've continued it. Everyone kept expecting, they've got to drop one somewhere, and everyone, for a while there, it looked like Heathmont was the contender, and then Baronia, they looked like they're in great form. They could bring Ringwood undone. Then Scoresby looked like the team who was emerging. No one's been able to do it. And I don't see it happening today. As much as I think Scoresby are the biggest threat to Ringwood, Scoresby are certainly one of the two best sides this year. They proved that last week against Baronia. But I just think this Ringwood side are, with or without Trent Farmer, I think they'll be too good.
Yeah, well, you better not say too much before you speak to Scoresby about how they're going to go today.
No, well, that's true. But at the same time, you've got to call it as you said. I'm sure Scoresby know that
they've got their plans.
They are the underdog, and we'll see what unfolds this afternoon. Hoping to speak to Tony Vannon, the assistant coach of Scoresby, very shortly. But yeah,
I'd have to agree though that the last time they played, I watched the game back, and sometimes I try to ignore games where it's a windy to one end and you get one go each to try to kick the goals against the opposition, and the opposition just set up to try to save the goals. But so I don't know what to take out of that game, but there was just the way it was moving in the last quarter. Ringwood, they've got some good skills, and Scoresby, did slow it down a little bit when they were moving it.
Well, we've got our guest on the line now, Tony Vannon, the assistant coach of Scoresby, who joins us now. Good afternoon, Tony.
G'day, guys. How we going?
Yeah, very well, thanks. And great to have Scoresby part of finals action again this year in 2018. And I just wanted to ask you, in regards to this afternoon's match, like, I would never say that you've got nothing to lose because obviously it is a final, but because Ringwood have been the top side all year and because your side has earned the double chance, is it almost a little bit like a free hit this afternoon in as much as you might be able to maybe try something a little bit different to try and bring Ringwood undone without that pressure of being a cutthroat final where you'd be knocked out if you lost?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely it is whether it's a free hit or not, it's good to know we've got another chance. But certainly, in terms of trying something different because we've got that free hit, I certainly don't think that's what we need to be doing. We need to be trying to do something different to, reverse the results of what's happened earlier on in the year. The first time we sort of played these guys, we were pretty disappointed and uncompetitive. And then the second time, we gave it our best shot and just couldn't sustain it. So, while we know what we can do, some good things, there's obviously a few other areas we need to tighten up and sustain that for 4 quarters.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask was, is it really a case of Scoresby doing what they do best, being able to do it at your absolute best level, or is it also more a case of maybe learning some lessons from your previous encounters against Ringwood earlier in the year?
Yeah, definitely we're pretty confident that our best is right up there, and how long we can sustain that for will dictate how we'll go. But I think both teams haven't played each other at full strength and have had different lineups both times they've played. So there's a bit of unknown as well, different sides, so see how the different matchups go.
And do you think last week, the last time you met where it was a win going to one end, that there was essentially a scoring end, that it's hard to read based on that performance, track how you were going against Ringwood because there was such a wind that dictated the game a little bit?
Yeah, it was quite interesting that day, and that was something we discussed sort of after the game. As coaches, we sort of didn't sense that there was much of a win. We just thought, it played a bit of a game that teams were getting on top and taking advantage of that, since we discovered afterwards that there was a bit of a breeze playing a factor. So at East Build at the moment, there's no win, so I wouldn't say it'll be a scoring end. So I guess it'll just be the team that can get on top and sustain that'll come out on top.
And Scoresby's got a bit of got some veterans, to put it kindly, but the evergreen Mark Williams kicking 5 goals in a final is it's fantastic to have such skillful players and experienced players in finals games.
Absolutely. I mean, Mark Williams is the one you mentioned there, and he's just that, for people that know Willow, that he just lives for this sort of stuff. He thrives on it. He likes the big stage. He doesn't have to be the main man, but when he certainly gets on top, he's a very very hard opponent to stop. And then obviously, Matty Krawczak had a super first final. A lot of people, it's probably underrated from what we see. A lot of people don't notice what he does, but he was certainly pretty handy as well. And Scott Goldsworthy down back, so we've got a good mix sort of across the board, back, forward, mid at times, that gives that sort of steadying influence when we need it.
And some of these players have been around since the glory days of Scoresby, dropping down to Division 3 and to be back, such a good club again and to be in finals. Just to paraphrase in a way, is there a good vibe down at Scoresby now that as a club you're returning to when you were strong in Division 1 and that the feel of it is back to what it was when you were going so well in Division 1?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also, we know we're not Division 1 and we're a long way off that, but we've made a big emphasis over the last sort of month or two of just touching on those bad times, but also stressing to the guys that here that they're the 22 out there on the field, but it's a fantastic opportunity for the club as a whole. They're just the ones that get to go out there and represent, but there's a whole lot of other people that are hanging on this, and sort of here watching our reserves, and hopefully they can hang on and get straight through the grand final. So if we can follow that up to have 2 teams in the grand final, it'll be a fantastic result from where the club was, 4 or 5 years ago.
Tony, obviously a terrific performance last week in your first final. How much confidence does that give the team going into today? And do you feel like that's a bit of an advantage over Ringwood, that you were able to have a really good win in a final already whilst Ringwood were training, although they get the extra break, that competitive hit out? Do you think that gives you much of an advantage?
I don't know about an advantage. I know it certainly gives us confidence to get that finals win under the belt, and also having played on the ground at East Burwood. We take something from that, but I don't know whether it gives us an advantage or anything over Ringwood as such, but it certainly gives us a bit of confidence.
Well, hopefully you players can certainly take that confidence into this afternoon, and all the very best with it, Tony, and to everyone at the Scoresby Footy Club. It's been a great season by the team, and you've got a great opportunity this afternoon against Ringwood out there at East Burwood Reserve. So all the very best, and thanks for your time.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you there to Tony Vannon, assistant coach of the Scoresby Footy Club. And, they're a big chance, obviously, this afternoon. I mentioned before that I can't tip against Ringwood, and I think anyone who tips against a team who's undefeated all year is a brave tipster, genuine punter. I think it's fair to say if you're willing to do that. I'm not willing to do that on this occasion, but maybe one of you boys are. I don't know. No,
not at all. But it was great to hear from Tony Vannon in that he is the general off-field. We've got to realise that Scott Goldsworthy, the coach, he's going to be on the field for more than half the game. So it's an interesting dynamic, and it was actually good to speak to the Tony. That was a good interview with Tony. I think he was quite optimistic and confident that they would play well. But I just think their two game styles clash so much that, yes, Scoresby have a good chance, but it does catch your eye just the way Ringwood were able to spread late in that their last clash, and just the way they move it. I just think they're clinical in scoring, and that's where they've got an advantage over the rest of the comp. They convert their opportunities better than anyone else.
Yeah, I think Ringwood have to be quite a bit off for Scoresby to get the job done today. But we saw in their last game, there were a good 20-25 minute patches where Scoresby were all over Ringwood. Obviously, it wasn't enough, and we touched on the breeze that day as well. I was of the same view as Tony. I thought there was a breeze there, but I think it was the way that the sides were playing.
Did they put players behind the ball when they were against it?
Not really. I just don't think either side was really moving the ball well when they were kicking into the breeze, and that just played a part. I think a lot of it was mental. So I think they can take a lot out of that game. The fact that they were able to have quite significant periods where they were right on top of Ringwood, but I think Ringwood have to be a fair way off their game to lose, and I don't think that will happen today. I think Ringwood will get the job done.
Scoresby looking to advance to their first EFL Grand Final since 2011, and Ringwood looking to get through to their first Grand Final since 2005. So it's been a long time between drinks, really, for both sides in terms of getting to the last day to the big dance.
Yeah, but it wasn't a great day for Scoresby then either.
Back in 2011? No, it certainly wasn't.
Wasn't one of the best finals we've seen.
Division 1 Grand Final against Noble Park. No, they'll be hoping to play much better today, and if they get through to the Grand Final in 2 weeks' time. Well, that's pretty much wraps us up on EFL Sunday. Obviously, the boys will be taking over to preview this afternoon's game between Bayswater and Lilydale very shortly, and of course stay tuned to the match day coverage. Thanks very much, Tim Fitzsimons, for your work. Keep saying this morning, but of course it is the afternoon.
He was very good this morning before we got on air.
Yeah, no, thanks. Pleasure to be here once again. Going to be on social media in the caravan today, so not out in the elements like I was yesterday in the rain. But
good to hear.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a terrific clash. Obviously, Lilydale, their form hasn't been terrific as of late. They've dropped off. We know they had a great start to the year, but it's finals, it's a new season, start again, and against a side like Bayswater, who are bouncing back from obviously a disappointing year in Division 1 last year. It's good to see that they're back playing finals football, which they almost thoroughly will enjoy, I believe.
And thanks very much, Gavin Casey. Great work on the show once again, as always, as you have all throughout the year on EFL Sunday.
Well, it was a pleasure to be with you today, and looking forward to today's game. So, great to be with you today on EFL Sunday, Brad.
Got a tip for today? Who's your tip for this afternoon?
This is the one upset that I'm tipping. I think Bayswater are actually in better form, and I'm tipping Bayswater.
Yeah, I agree with that. I reckon this is the final that's going to throw up an upset. I reckon Baysy are going to find a way today. Lilydale's form does concern me, and I reckon Bayswater, on their day, Bayswater can sort of do anything. Their form's been a bit hard to read at times, but I reckon they can get the upset today. Their reserves are doing a good job at the moment. Bayswater in the reserves are leading 7-6-48 to Park Orchard's 1-7-13. I noticed Park Orchards just a few minutes ago finally kicked their first goal of the game with a soccer kick off the ground in the goal square, and it brought a lot of cheers because obviously it had been a pretty miserable day up until then, but they still trail by 35 points. Hope you've enjoyed EFL Sunday, this finals edition of EFL Sunday, and very pleased to have hosted it today and brought the show to you. But do not touch your radio dial, because over the next few hours you'll be listening to the big clash between Bayswater and Lilydale, the second division first semi-final, and that should be an absolute cracker with the EFL media team bringing all the action. Looking forward very much to that, and thanks for joining us on EFL Sunday. Don't touch your dials, as I say. Stay tuned to all the EFL coverage today, and enjoy your Sunday afternoon.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding.
Yeah, that's right.
At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
EFL.org.au is the place to be online for all the latest on the Eastern Football League. Keep up to date by checking out the latest news and feature articles. Have your say in the EFL poll. Check out all the latest EFL videos, and best of all, you can listen back to any EFL radio program at any time. Head to EFL.org.au. The Eastern Football League. Local footy at its best.
At Hogsbread Cafe, we're serving Aussie-style great food and a feel-good attitude. Now we're going the whole hog with pasta, more seafood, chicken, rib dishes and fresh salads. And always our famous 18-hour slow-cooked prime rib steak. What are you waiting for? Come in for lunch or dinner and experience the value that is Hogsbread Cafe.
Chadstone, Dandenong, Kooringal, Knox Ozone and Water Gardens. Come in and experience some hospitality.
Our hospitality is all about you. We do great steak.
Program sponsor.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
Program sponsor.
G'day, Billy Brownless here from The Footy Show. KFC Almost Footy Legends is back in 2018, and we're searching for the best highlights from local footy. Head to 9now.com.au/AFL Footy Show and upload your entry for a chance to win $35,000 cash plus a year's supply of KFC.
Program sponsor.
On EFL Sunday, it's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Division 2 elimination final day out at Tormore Reserve. It doesn't get much better than this. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there right across the Eastern Football League. They do a mountain of work for everybody, and especially in our league as well. And I tell you what, we are pretty pumped to be out here today. A big clash, the Division 2 elimination final between Lilydale and the Bayswater football clubs. Good crowds already in, and they're still flooding through the gates. Get down here if you can and watch a good game of football. Looks like the heavens they're not open, they've closed, so the weather should be pretty good. And in the reserves game out here at the moment between Bayswater and Park Orchards, it is Bayswater leading this one deep into the final term. They're going to be going through to the next week, 9-7-61 to 1-7-13. My name is Ben Warren-Smith. A great job by Brad Henderson, Gavin Casey and Tim Fitzsimons on EFL Sunday, talking to all the winning coaches and of course the coaches that are playing in today's matches across the Eastern Football League in the Bendigo Bank Finals Series. Let's introduce the panel. We've got the A-team calling the big clash out here today, starting with the media manager of the Eastern Football League, riding shotgun alongside myself today. Good afternoon, Dan Sensick.
Yeah, the A-team. Geez, no pressure, but great to be out here at Tormore Reserve. And seen a bit of these two sides play this year. Lilydale, of course, started off really well. They tapered off towards the end of the season, but they were able to dig themselves out of that hole last weekend. So really looking forward to seeing how they'll go. Bayswater, the huge underdog heading into this final series. So they've really got nothing to lose heading in. So expect big things from them.
The wise man of the Eastern Football League, who had cricket training this morning. We didn't hear him on EFL Sunday, or he's shaking his head he didn't. But nonetheless, you're out here to sit in the caravan and see a big Division 2 clash today. Welcome to you, Ray Bed, and happy Father's Day.
Yeah, thank you, Ben, and happy Father's Day to all the other fathers out there. Yeah, no, look, I was out here yesterday, so it's been a whole weekend here at Tormore Reserve for me. But
Division 2 specialist, Raymond.
Sorry?
You're the Division 2 specialist.
Oh, I'm a specialist with everything I do, mate.
Right,
so there you go. Yeah, no, look, it's great to be here and looking forward to a great elimination final.
No man gets more excited, probably outside of myself, when it gets to the EFL final series than Wayne Brasher, and he's back on board again today and looking forward to a great clash. Welcome, Brash.
Yep, nothing beats EFL finals. Doesn't matter whether it's Division 1 to Division 4, and I think we're going to be in for a very, very interesting game this afternoon. Both these sides look like they match up pretty well against each other, and I think hopefully we can be in for another exciting clash like we had yesterday.
Let's hope so. Our fingers are crossed, of course, with EFL Sunday starting at midday. With the time that we've come on air now, it is a little bit hard to bail up the coaches and get them on board because they've got their pre-match routines. But we are privileged to have in the caravan the president of the Lilydale Football Club, Anthony Simmons. Anthony, welcome to EFL Game Day, and it's a big day for the football club. You must be pumped.
Yep, certainly are. Thanks for the invitation, gentlemen. Happy to join you here. Great day for us, and we think we may just have the wood on Bayswater after beating them twice during the season, but we've got a couple of ins and outs, so it's going to be a closely fought contest.
Talk about how the year's gone for Lilydale. It's sat on top of the ladder for a fair chunk of the season and had a really successful year. That's on the field, but also when we talk off the field, how is the club going?
Yeah, club's going okay. I mean, we're no different to anyone else. We struggle for our sponsorship and membership and seek every dollar that we can as we go through, but it's obviously a lot easier for us when we're winning games of football. We've got a very good local crowd that we get down to all the games, and they like to travel as well. So
the Lilydale Grog Squad, we've called them out on air a few times.
Yeah, you guys have been set up right next to it, and occasionally I might even be part of that when I'm not running around doing presidential duties. But yeah, we, as I say, we have got a very good following, and we do quite well out of our bar takings.
A lot's made of the young Lilydale side, Anthony, but coming up through the ranks, you had two sides play in under-17s grand finals as well a couple of weeks ago. That bodes well for the future of the club, doesn't it? Because juniors are the lifeblood of clubs in the Eastern Football League climate now.
Yeah, certainly are. We've been blessed with the junior program that we're running at the moment. Our junior club is very well organised, very stable, and had the same committee on board for the last 2 or 3 years and took over from a stable committee there for about 5 years prior to that. In the last, I think 5 years ago, it might have been, or 4 years ago, we had 3 sides come through under 17s and all win flags. This year our 17Ds raised a flag, and so did the 17 premiers. We actually had the 17s dinner last night. I attended that, and we got some great kids coming through there, which bodes really well for the future of our club.
Anthony, one of the things that I've noticed with the Lilydale average age today, I was just having a quick word to Brett Fisher, it's got to be the youngest average age of 22 years of age to be taking on in an EFL final series that I've seen. It must be a great fillip for the club to know that you've got all these young guys, and especially if they could happen to make it to a grand final and win it, right, to go up into the go up to the next, or they won't go up, but at least go into Division 1 again next year with a premiership, and obviously the thought of being able to be 1 year more experienced, but also able to recruit more players to the club.
Yeah, again, a great testament to our junior kids coming through. These guys playing today, you're right, average age of 22. I think we had an inclusion today, Daniel Baldwin, who's been back from injury, he's slotting in at about 24, 25 years old. Yeah. He's the senior veteran of the club now. So
a veteran at 25.
At 25, so that says a lot. He actually played in our last flag in 2011. So So, look, it bodes well for the future of the club. As I said, great to have these kids there all together. They've come through successful in juniors. They've now notched 3 seasons under the belt, all playing together. So it's only going to be great for the future of the footy club moving forward.
Played finals last year. Hopefully, I think you fell at this hurdle last year.
Correct.
Obviously, when you go into a season, you sort of hope, right, that you make the finals, but when you do make it, you hope you go that one step further. If you lose today, does it feel like it's a disappointment, or do you still think it's still a win in the eyes of the Lilydale faithful?
I think, look, certainly we'll be disappointed if we can't take that extra step today, and that's what the guys have set their cap for.
Yep.
But having said that, I think the season that we've had, the consistency that the boys have displayed, especially in the first half of the season, we had a little bit of a hurdle. You know, we lost 4 out of 5 there in the back end. But just that consistency in the first half just shows that they've matured a lot since last season. A lot of games where we were headed, late in the third or in the fourth quarter, where last season we probably would have, folded the towel. The boys have stuck to their process and come through. And that just to me shows the level of maturity that they've taken this extra step this season.
Anthony, it's great for any club, suburban club, whatever, to win a premiership. But when, we class Lilydale as a little country town, and it is because where it's situated. But, when next year, if you can snag a flag here, and next year when you're talking to sponsors, it certainly makes the job easier, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does. Coming off the back of a flag and that success, that profile, it makes it easier to sales pitch to sponsors and members and getting them back involved for the following year. So, I mean, look, to be honest, we're not unhappy with the fact that we won't step up. Financially, the club, while it's far better off than it was 3 seasons ago, we probably need to do a little bit more work in that space to take the step into Premier Division, as it will be called next year. So hopefully off the back of the flag this year, we can cement that next year and then see how we go moving forward.
Just on your coach, Ben Nagel. Now, I saw a lot of Ben when he was a player, and I believe that he coaches the same way that he played, just full-on aggression. That's certainly the way to go with him. But how do you feel that he manages, because you're such a young side, he must be very good with the younger fellas?
Oh, look, that's one of his strengths. And the boys, they love him. They love him to death. They'll walk over hot coals for him. And that's one of the strengths that he's been able to bring, is the engagement with the young kids. And that's the first thing that he identified, is that young playing group. And it's a unique space that he's working, as you say, with an average age of 22. Trying to get that composure and maturity up through the group has been his biggest challenge this year. And I think he's ticked a lot of the boxes there.
Anthony, it's been a great honour of the media team for you to host us twice throughout the season down at the LSO. We love going down there. We're looking forward to calling Lilydale once again today, and thanks for joining us on pre-match. Both sides have run out onto the ground now. Get back with your brethren, enjoy the afternoon, and hopefully we see you walking around with a gigantic smile on your face at the end of the day.
Thanks very much, gents. Cheers.
Thank you very much to the president of Lilydale Football Club, Anthony Simmons. Both sides out on the ground, gentlemen. It's almost showtime here out at Tormore Reserve for the Division 2 elimination final. Lilydale taking on Bayswater. Brash, I know you've looked deep into this clash today. How's it going to play out?
Well, one of the most important factors for mine is we've just spoken about it, was the age difference, 22 years of age as against Bayswater's 26. The other thing that comes into play this afternoon is that there's a lot of Bayswater players running around here that have tasted premiership success. They know how to play this ground. It's one of the big pluses for mine. Lilydale, on the other hand, they've really exceeded themselves once again early part, and they set themselves up for this tilt. I can't really read anything into last week's win against Mulgrave, because it was just more of a win that they had to have to get some confidence. I think a lot will rest on on Lockie Koga this afternoon, and I think, like with most forwards, you need to push them up in the centre-half forward region so they can get early touches.
He's kicked 41 goals for the year. We saw him against Doncaster East where he did struggle, but he was playing deeper in that game.
Right.
So you're asking him to come out further today.
He's got to come up further, and I think that's the same deal for Bayswater. Your two major forwards have to be playing up the ground on such bigger grounds early on, and for that reason, Lilydale's other figures, they're one of the best. They're the best starting side in Division 1. They've won 16 first quarters right side throughout the year, so they're a good side. But their young blokes are going to have to run a lot harder and a lot faster this afternoon. I just think that the bigger bodies of Bayswater will get them over the line. And I think the game will be close, and I'm tipping Bayswater by about 2 goals.
Oh, he's gone for Bayswater. Ray Baird, I'm sure I know what colour undies you're wearing this afternoon.
No, you don't. I got new ones for Father's Day. No, look, I agree with everything Brass says, but also I add to that the fact that, but Lockie Kroger has kicked 41 goals. That's fine. He's their outstanding goal scorer. But to match that, Jack Callanan's only has kicked 38. So they've both got... But then, apart from that, Lilydale's only got one other player who's kicked over 20 goals for the season, whereas Bayswater's got another 4. I just think that Bayswater, apart from being bigger bodies, they love playing here in finals. I know they won a flag here back a few years, a long time ago here, against Doncaster East. But, I just think that Bayswater win, and I'm going to go for 18 points.
And it'll be Bayswater kicking towards the Baronia Road end, the right of your radio dial, right of EFL.org.au stream this afternoon. So we're looking forward to this. Dan Sensick, which way are you seeing this one panning out?
Yeah, look, 12 months ago, Lilydale played here at Baronia in a final against Murrelbach. They went down by 2 points, and that was seen as a pass mark for them last season to get to the finals. 12 months on, they've matured, a lot of them, and they've got another 12 months under their belt. So a pass mark for Lilydale this year, based on what they've achieved, will be based on getting past this first week of the finals and going deep into September. So I'm going to go for Lilydale, but by about, I'd say 3 goals.
Well, we're only moments away from the start of the Division 2 elimination final between Lilydale and Bayswater. I'm tipping Lilydale in an extremely close one. It's been a top toss of the coin situation all week. Players have found their positions. Big crowd in. Here's the siren, and here's Dan Sensick to take us away.
Division 2 elimination final here at Tormore Reserve in Baronia. Rucks go at it. Mitchener got first hands to it, won the tap down, and Bayswater with the first clearance up towards half forward. Nobody able to take the mark. Great tackle there applied on Lopo, and the umpire calls for the ball at centre half forward.
I think, boys, that it's very important for Lilydale to get off a good start.
So Rucks go at it again. Galvin won the tap down. Not very far though, as his opponent was wrapped up there. That was Morrison at the bottom of the pack. So the umpire restarts again. Mitchener with a Clark Keating-esque thump. And not to advantage though, as the Bayswater man gathers it here on the wing, trickling towards the boundary line, and we'll see a boundary throw in. On the wing here at Tormore Reserve, and plenty of great players in this side. Lachlan Wilson's one to watch. He was on fire when we saw them 2 weeks ago against Doncaster East. Zach Kennedy played a good game, Corey Burnston as well, so plenty of live wires in this Lilydale side as the ball's brought back into play. Galvin won the tap. Oh, bursting through nicely there was Lowe. Handball wasn't to any sort of advantage though. Out on the wing now, beautifully gathered there by O'Reilly, put his teammate under a fair bit of pressure, and now Galvin again, wearing the long sleeves today, just tries to tap it to his brother there in Bryce, and the umpire calls for the ball again. So a number of stoppages to start this game. We've gone 1:20 in the opening term, no score yet.
Yeah, Bryce Galvin and Mitchener are going up, Bo Mitchener up against each other. Pivotal match-up, that one this afternoon.
So the Rucks go at it. Here's the skipper, Joel Galvin, looping handball over the top. That was okay. The hyphen, McGilvray Smith, a little dribbler up towards the half-forward line there, pretty close to the boundary line. Herman Munster, a.k.a. Ben Searle, sees it over the boundary line.
I reckon he's had more shaved off since the last time we saw him.
One of the greatest doos of all time I've ever seen on a football field.
Kevin Bartlett-esque, isn't it?
It is absolutely brilliant. So
Bartlett's minus the comb over.
High throws it back in. Rucks go at it again as Mitchener and Galvin have seen most of the play at the moment. Ball hits the deck. We'll have another stoppage.
Another good matchup. Batty versus Van Ruin. Real two inside players.
High throws the ball off. Mitchener went up unopposed there in that situation. Trying to break free there was Ryan Harvey. Was quickly met by Aaron Cott, and we will have another ball up. 2.5 minutes tick by. No score on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard thus far. Mitchener, knock over the top. Good to see the ball on the grandstand side here today as well. Let's hope it stays that way for the most of the afternoon. Linking up nicely though was Eddie. Got it away to Galvin. On the right boot, it was a skew F kick. He was looking for Van Ruin. It bounced away from him. So a chance for Lilydale, who looked to have the numbers across the half forward line. Linking up nicely on the right boot, going forward. There was Clapp. Goes through.
I tell you what, I think that went through for a goal. I think it was a goal. It might have just touched the post. I was watching it, and it looked like it went through the big sticks, but we'll go with the umpire there. One behind, first on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, goes the way of Lilydale. That was a quick transition, and they had the spare player, but they'll be disappointed they couldn't get the end result.
But in the end, it was a missed opportunity. Should have been a goal.
So ball brought back into play. He's fluffed the kick up there, Schroeder. Just couldn't take it, was put under a lot of pressure. We'll see a ball in, deep inside the pocket.
Even though they only scored that point there, it just emphasised that's what Lilydale's going to have to do. They're going to have to hurt Bayswater all afternoon on the transition.
So ball to be tossed in the pocket for Lilydale. They look dangerous going forward this season. Tap one there nicely by Moore. Hits the deck, snap around the corner, smothered at the last moment. And what can they do here though? Wilson, just missing to the left-hand side, through for one behind. They're electric when they go forward, Lilydale, aren't they? There's so many live wires down there that just move the ball so quickly, and that's what's netted them a lot of goals this season, is their intercept work. It's been second to none.
Wayne McInerney, the duck. Last line of defence goes short. Ball on the far side of Tormore Reserve here. Long-time Division 2 finals venue. Beneath the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, the kick goes out wide. Working themselves out okay here, Bayswater. The kick goes in towards the middle of the ground, where Bryce Galvin takes it just outside the edge of the centre square. Looking to create a little bit of a switch, and they did have the numbers. Mark's been taken by Hall, got it away to McInerney. Short passes on. It's now been taken there by Jessmore in towards the middle of the ground. He was looking for Galvin. Over the top of his head it goes round Real Mazzeri. Was met very heavily by McNay. Ball hits the deck. Players stacks on the mill, and we'll have a ball up right in the middle here. Two behinds to Lilydale. They lead this game by those two. Bayswater yet to score. High throws it up now. Mitchner went up unopposed that time. Strong tackle down there by Van der Lack. Released the football. Umpire calls play on. That was good play. Came out more. Got a handball away. Now Bayswater just trying to work themselves out of a phone booth. Bouncing football. Out came Callan, and he's a long way from goal there. Now the kick was smothered. And we will have another boundary throw-in. I can tell you what, the amount of stoppages in these first 5 minutes is second to none.
Well, neither side's going to give an inch in the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because there's so much to play for.
So ball tossed back in on the wing. Mitchner won the tap down. And to no real advantage, though, as they look to surge forward again, Bayswater. Van der Lack takes it. Galvin now, the skipper, goes backwards to his teammate there in Moore. Skips around one, then kicks down the line. Looking for a teammate there, unable to take it. And loose ball on the wing. There's a whistle, though. And a free kick going the way of Lilydale. So Baker to take it. He played well last time we saw Lilydale play, actually, Sam Baker. Kicked a couple of goals. Dangerous looking kick. McGillivray Smith intercepted, but Lilydale looking to repel now. They look into the middle of the ground. Great mark taken there. Now they're off to the races. What can they do? This is Class Henry inside forward 50, looking for a teammate to hit on the chest. Koga couldn't take the mark. This is... they look to go forward again, Lilydale. Class Henry once again to the pocket. And off hands, and Wilson a chance. Boundary line beats him though. 6.5 minutes gone. Lilydale by 2 points.
I'm guessing that number 3 might be Corey Burnson. Sometimes he wears number 6, but I reckon today he's wearing number 3. I reckon if we can get our man Gav to check that for us.
Spot on. Let's go around the grounds. Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, the Division 3 semi-final will have a bit of a delayed start because the reserves have gone into extra time. So the scores are still level there between Heathmont and Scoresby in the Division 3 extra time at the end of the first stanza of that.
Baker chopped it across and slotted a pass straight down Lowe's throat. And Lilydale, the first genuine shot on goal, will happen from about 45 metres out, 45-degree angle. So Brad Lowe has kicked 11 goals for the season. Lilydale with 10 players that have kicked 10 goals or more. Lowe comes in, and Lowe pushed it to the right-hand side as we cross down boundary side to Gav Casey.
You're right with the number change. Number 3 is Corey Burnson.
Never in doubt. Best in the business, Wayne Brusher. All over it. 7.5 minutes gone, and it's a 3-point lead as McInerney brings the ball back into play. It was risky business. Hayden Schroeder takes it right underneath the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So the Bayswater just needing to build something here. Schroeder goes backwards to McInerney, who looks to sell a bit of candy to Bernstein, does so, then goes quickly down the line. Oh, risky looking kick. Intercepted there by Klepp. Now they've got to really work for it. Lilydale. Now Kennedy goes backwards, finds McNay. Baker once again just wheeling around and looking for his best option. Handballs to space. Class Henry's had a bit of the ball in the last few minutes. Pops it inside forward 50. Great mark taken there though by Moore.
Moore's had a lot of the football early in this game.
But he's actually butchered it a couple of times too, Ray.
Moore down the wing. Finds a target there in Callanan, who moves it on very quickly. And they look to surge again. Bayswater up towards half forward. There's a whistle though.
Is that Cunningham getting a free kick there?
And it's pushing the back, I think, to Cunningham. So Cunningham chips over the top. He was looking for his teammate there in camera and spoiled out of bounds. So 8 minutes, nearly 9 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Lilydale are 3 behind. Bayswater are yet to score. A lot of stoppages early on in this game. As the ball tossed in just inside forward 50 for the Waters. Mitchener wins a relatively easy tap. Galvin dished out the handball now, and Bayswater look to go inside forward 50. Can they hit a target? No, they can't. And the Falcons getting back there. So he moves it on very quickly. He's taking a bounce, trying to sell a bit of candy. Ran himself into a bit of trouble, though. Great smother there by Vanderlack. What can he do? Can he get boot to ball? No, he can't. Morrison just grub a kick out of trouble there. And great tackle there applied on Wiles. And we'll see a ball up inside 50 for the Waters.
Gee, they made a mess of that, the defence there for Lilydale.
Round the grounds on the score centre, Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, the Division 1 elimination final. It's Blackburn with the early lead, 1-2-8. Rowville yet to score.
50 metres out from the Bayswater goal line. Can they work themselves out of here? And there was McGilvray Smith. Little snap around the body. Goes towards the top of the goal square where the mark has been taken. You've got to play in front in these situations when it's tight football and the quick kick goes forward and going back, and surely making no mistake will be Ash Vanderlack for Bayswater, who hasn't kicked many goals this year.
He normally plays reserve football.
Comes in now, keeps it low and keeps it straight. So Bayswater draw first blood as far as a 6-pointer is concerned on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 10.5 minutes into this first term, they lead by 3 points, 1 straight 6. Lilydale 3 behinds.
How many times do we see that in football where one side has it inside their 50 for 5 or 10 minutes and the opposition take it straight up and get a goal?
Let's cross down boundary side to Gav Casey.
The slight breeze to the left where the scoreboard is, but it's just started light rain, very light, up into the box.
So ball back in the middle here, 11 minutes tick over. It's a 3-point lead to Bayswater.
So Joel Galvin and Mitchener, rather that was Smith in the ruck for Bayswater. So they look to surge forward again, the Waters. Out wide to the wing, beautiful handball fed out there. But Class Henry had a lot of the ball in this opening term. Rebounding kick up towards centre half forward. Chopped off there in the end by McInerney. McInerney's kick over the top. Oh, gee, he made Galvin, the skipper, work for it there. Umpire said that was okay. Goes across the ground, and ordinary looking kick. Put Moore under a lot of pressure, who gathers and just chips over the top now and finds Van Ruin. Handball over the top now. Off to, I think it was McInerney of the Scott variety. Van Ruin again. Wheeling around, puts the Waters inside forward 50. Pack flies. No one able to take the mark. And snap kick towards goal now. Is it got the carry? It's away to the right. And that was Lopo. So a minor score for Bayswater. So they're 1-1-7. Lilydale are 3 behinds. We've gone 12 minutes nearly in this opening term here at Tormore Reserve. And, Bayswater have fired up in the last couple of minutes, Ray, and they've been the better of the sides.
Yeah, no, they certainly are. You know, it was all Lilydale early, but no, they've got back into it, Bayswater.
Oh, big fly there by Mitchener. He used his opponent as a stepladder, and a broken back almost to Joel Galvin. He's too far out to score. Goes inside forward 50. The kick goes forward looking for Callan, and he had 2 players to beat. Ball goes over the top of him and Doug Woolen.
Yeah, look,
I should say. Over she goes.
Yeah, led to the wrong position there, Callan, and I know Joel Galvin was trying to honour the lead, but I think it was pulled the wrong string there.
Deep in the forward line here for Bayswater. High throws it in the front spot. Out there was Smith, gets the handball away, just spilling it at the crucial stage out there. Bayswater top of the goal square, Styles here. McLeod, can he get beat to ball? Got it to Callanan. Callanan up and under kick, and only went about 3 metres. It went higher than it went longer, but it goes through the big sticks nonetheless. Jack Callanan gets his first goal of the game, taking him to 39 for the season now. Bayswater stretching their lead out to 10 points.
Great goal by Callanan, and then he kicked that out of a phone box because he had no room whatsoever. He knew he had to get it on the boot very quickly, which he did, and a great goal to Bayswater.
That was really good, quick hands there by Bayswater too.
Yeah.
You know, in such a short amount of space, they still found a little bit of clear space for Callanan to get that kick off.
A very important time in this game. I believe that Lilydale have got to really get back and get that running game going.
So Waters with the momentum here. Galvin comes bursting through, and the whistle here, it's going to go the way of Lilydale. So the Falcons move it on very quickly. Searle getting back courageously, unable to take the mark. Bursting through there nicely was Schroeder. Little look away handball looking for Searle. And Lilydale just inside forward 50 again. Class Henry tries to find a man. A lot of players under pressure at the moment, but getting back nicely there was Moore. Handball gained valuable meterage. And Schroeder again tackled. And that ball's going nowhere. McGillivray Smith is wrapping up his Lilydale counterpart there, and we'll see a ball up inside 50 for the Falcons. So rucks go at it. Galvin flies, and umpire says he's infringed. And the free kick coming to Lilydale.
He had a fresh air shot. I don't know how that was an infringement.
Koga puts it long inside forward 50, top of the square, and another whistle.
No, he's seen a free kick.
And holding the man.
McNay.
And it's going to go the way of Ryan McNay, who will have a shot from directly in front, about 35 out, you'd think, and to put Lilydale's first goal on the board for the afternoon.
He's been prominent on that half-back line, McNay's done a couple of nice things.
So McNay comes in, 35 out directly in front for the Falcons' first of the afternoon. How's the kick? It's straight as an arrow, and he's got the first for the day for the Falcons. They go to 139. Bayswater 2-1-13 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We've gone 15 minutes in the opening term of this elimination final here at Tormore Reserve.
Almost a goal that they had to get here, Lilydale, because the last 6 to 8 minutes have belonged to Bayswater. Bit of a blood rule coming up here, and look, Lilydale, like I said earlier, they're going to have to hit Bayswater and punish them for everything on the mistakes and turnovers off that half-back line, because I don't think they're going to have the strength to be able to hold Bayswater out all afternoon.
I think confidence is going to play a big part in this game, and if Bayswater string together 2 or 3 goals together, I think that Lilydale's confident, so they've got to answer every goal that Bayswater get.
O'Donoghue goes up against Galvin. O'Donoghue got the knockdown that time. Ball scoots out wide. Here's Healy there for the Falcons, got the handball away. Now they'll go up towards the half-forward line. 1-on-1 contest does ensue. Umpire says play on. Wilson at the fall of the ball. Got himself into a fair bit of trouble. That was really done there. Well done by Scott McInerney. Got the handball away. McNay got the handball off. Here's Batty on the left boot. Dribbles it inside forward 50. The big ruckman there. Bryce Galvin trapped it. Got down low. Looping handball over the top. That was okay. Linked up nicely there with Eddie. Now Bayswater getting out of that danger zone. Safely held out there by Matthew Camera across the paint of the defensive arc. Right near the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's a 4-point lead to Bayswater. Kick goes up towards the Callanan direction. It stays alive and eventually it goes over. Paint beats all players. Let's have a boundary throw in.
Looks like Wayne McInerney's playing that loose man off the half-back line, trying to generate some run for the Bayswater midfield.
Well, came down Galvin, got it away to Searle, and now they're off in the middle of the ground. A spearing pass up towards centre half forward, bounced over the top of all players. Charging out there first, though, was O'Reilly for Bayswater. Eventually trapped it, somehow got boot to ball inside forward 50. That was okay. Handball over the top, Cunningham on the right boot, pokes it forward to Searle. He could almost go on with it, Benny, but he'll go back and have a shot from about 40 metres out, almost directly in front. We sort of wanted him to go on there, but he probably did go with the smarter option and go back and have a ping.
I just feel that the physicality of Bayswater at the moment, they just broke 3 or 4 tackles bringing that ball forward. That's going to play a big part.
So Searle comes in now. We're right behind him. He starts at left. Will it have enough legs? It didn't in the end, which is quite surprising. Usually a gale's blowing down towards that end of the ground, the Baronia Road end of the stadium. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 18 minutes tick over. It's 14-9. Bayswater lead by 5. Tim Fitzsimons, what's happening around the grounds?
Yeah, Division 1 elimination final. Blackburn with the early lead, 2-3-15. Roville yet to score halfway through the first quarter.
So Paddy Klepp brings it back into play for Lilydale. Just goes short to Healy, who gives the handball back. Little chip pass over the top. Great intercept there by Searle. And now under pressure is O'Donoghue. And the Waters, they surge forward once again. Taken nicely there by Lopo. Just looking for a handball and a target. Out wide, Van Ruin, can he gather? Goes backwards. Kick around the corner by Camera. Up to the goal square. How's this one going to bounce? It's through. And Camera has kicked his first goal for the afternoon. And Bayswater, they go to 3-2-20. Lilydale are 1-3-9. A very handy lead in the opening term. 18.5 minutes gone in the elimination final.
I was really impressed the way Bayswater moved that ball forward. 5 times there was outside runners who they could handball and dish it off to, and eventually the right bounce in the goal square. Joel Galvin could have probably marked it anyway, but that's a great goal by Bayswater.
Yeah, a Kodak moment there for Matty Camera.
You've been waiting all week for that one, Brash, haven't you?
I've had a couple, mate. Don't you worry about that.
After his royal flush yesterday, he's on fire, our Brash. As it comes out, Galvin got the knockdown. Van Ruins in there, quickly wrapped up. Let's have another bounce.
Problem is, Dan, I can't use it again for the rest of the afternoon.
Oh, you can think of some others, I'm sure.
I'll try.
Well, it's like the players. You've got to pull the big guns out early. O'Donoghue got the kick from the stoppage up towards the Wilson direction. Did really well. Got the handball away. Here's Harvey. Out wide he goes now. Across that half-forward line. Jess Moore was there for Bayswater. Just dropped it then. Got a little toe poke away. Umpire said play on. Really hard to earn clear possession for both sides at the moment, and we'll have a ball up outside the centre square, half-forward line for Lilydale, trailing this game by 11.
Yeah, the half-back line of Bayswater has really started very well here.
High throws it up. Galvin that time will give that one to him. Free kick going to Kurt Lopo. Classy player.
Had a good season, Lopo.
Really good season. Short passes on, finds Moore on the left boot. Since Brash said he butchered it, he hasn't missed a target.
That's right.
Got a number 18 out there for Bayswater. Gav Casey will be right on top of that for us. They're working themselves backwards to go forwards at the moment. Basie. Lead was coming on by Hoare. Instead, the kick there by Hayden Schroeder up towards the wing position, and a big fly, and it might be paid here. What a fantastic mark that was by Matty Camera. Kicked the last goal. His side a handy lead. Scott McInerney now on the right boot. They're 2 kicks from home. Goes towards the Searle direction. A foot race does ensue. It's a one-on-one situation out there. I think it was McNay was there, but Searle did well. Got the handball away, linking up now with Cott. Inside forward 50, here he goes. And that was just a lot cleaner, wasn't it? He just had that poise, that time going inside forward 50 from that half-forward line, and spots up Jackie Callanan. He's already kicked 1 goal in this game, and this is bread and butter almost for him.
Just the way that Ben Searle used his body to push the opponent off the ball.
So Callanan on the right boot, set sail for goal. That was a fantastic kick and never looked like missing. He's got 2. Bayswater on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, they've got 4, and a very handy lead, 4-2-26 to 1-3-9.
Worrying signs for Lilydale, Brash, to this stage.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head a little bit earlier, Ray. The Bayswater's physicality is worrying Lilydale. They got bumped off the ball too easy then. In that forward 54, eh?
Let's cross down boundary side to Gavin Casey.
Update on Bayswater's numbers, not 48, 18 is Pritchard.
So back in the middle now. Mitchener wins the tap down. And the Waters go forward once again. That was Cotty. Inside forward 50, looking for a teammate, looking for a target. Unable to take it though, has a second bite at it. Cunningham gives it off again to Pritchard, who's just trying to work his way out of trouble. Pritchard goes again, dives in head first. That's great desperation there from Pritchard. Cunningham once again, handball up, Lopo. The kick goes forward to the pocket, trickles out of bounds in front of Joel Galvin. And we'll see a boundary throw in deep inside Bayswater's attacking 50.
Well, all those little 1%ers and 50-50 balls are going Bayswater's way at the moment, and they're making use of that.
So Cunningham and Mitchener to go up. Mitchener just taps towards the back there, and now they clear. Lilydale through the midfield now. Great target, great hit on Bernstein there. Wastes no time, puts them inside forward 50. Looking for Koga, but beautifully chopped off there by the Duck, Wayne McInerney, who finds a teammate out wide. Lopo again has seen a fair bit of the footy in this opening term, up towards half forward. Great hit. McGill-Ray Smith, just miskicked it there. Van Ruin has plenty of time. It's Galvin rather. McLeod at half forward. Little chip pass in the direction of Galvin of the Bryce variety, or the Joel variety. And then Bernstein once again just taking the ground. And the umpire calls for it. 17 points the margin, 23 minutes gone, opening term. So the Waters with a handy lead. Let's go to Tim Fitzsimons.
Oh, sorry, Division 3 semi-final, scores level early, 2 behinds apiece between Ringwood and Scoresby.
So Mitchener won the tap down, though. It was Joel Galvin, though, snaps around the body up to the top of the goal square. It looks to trickle through, though, hitting the post, in fact. And another minor score for Bayswater. So they're 4-3-27. Lilydale are 1-3-9. It's 18 points the margin on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Brash, I'm really impressed with Wayne McInerney. His disposal, 3 times in this game, he just lobbed the ball over the opponent's head and his teammates marked it.
So Klepp brings it back into play all the way down to centre half back. Great spoil there by Bayswater. Can they muster up a goal out of this? Van Ruin gathers. Little handball away to Lopo. Just almost tripped up trying to sell some candy. Lopo sets sail for home, and it's missed the lot, and it goes out of bounds in front of Klepp there, and we'll see another throw in. 24 minutes gone opening term.
From about the 10-minute mark of this first quarter rate, Bayswater, Lilydale are under siege at the moment.
They are, yeah.
9 plays 27. Umpire throws it in now. Mitchener knocked straight down the throat there of Klepp. An up and under kick, hugging the boundary line. Searle was the first player to meet it. Boundary line was always going to be the winner in that instant, and over she goes for a boundary throw in.
I just have so many more numbers around the contest.
And they're winning the 50-50 ball every time.
Smith and Mitchener front spot, knocked straight back over the boundary line, or thereabouts, maybe kept alive by Matty Camera, but no. AFL.org.au this afternoon, Bendigo Bank Final Series. It's all happening across the Eastern Football League. Keep us up to date. You're out of the ground this afternoon as the ball comes back into play now. Lilydale just trying to hold it in there. Klepp was there. Mitchener, little handball over the top, and they might create a switch here. The kick comes out towards the Bernstein direction, who had to go at it, and a strong mark taken in front of Craig O'Reilly. So Corey Bernstein wearing the double jumper today with the sleeves. Wants to take off. Knew he had the pace to back himself in, and a beautiful kick up towards the wing position off the boot, but there was nobody home except for Wayne McInerney, who takes it. Not an ounce of pressure. So right in front of the broadcast position here, just pokes it up. Did enough. Mark's been taken by Cam McLeod. And back towards McInerney. They're going for the switch here. Across the face, they've lost ground. Not too sure how they went about that, but nonetheless, it comes back to McInerney. They're going back towards Schroeder. They've lost a lot of ground here. 25. They've had 5 possessions and they've lost 30 metres. But Joel Galvin, the general, takes the mark. He'll poke it a little bit forward. Scott McInerney takes the mark. Jess Moore leads out along the wing, takes it on the chest, lace out. Had Callanan leading for him. It was filthy. It wasn't passed to him. Now he's a bit of a turnover. Low, but then he got stripped by the football. Nicely done there by McLeod. Hits the deck, and let's have a ball up.
So they couldn't even take advantage of that turnover there, Ray?
No, you're right.
A little bit scrappy.
You know, Ben said they lost ground, but they're just controlling the ball at the moment.
Go at it now. Morrison went up in the ruck contest. The non-officiating umpire has come in and said Morrison was held. So Callum Morrison for Lilydale in the middle of the ground. weighing up his options. Looking sideways, gets very close to the man on the mark and then dumps the ball forward, looking for the Koga direction. Over the back of him it goes. Nicely done there by McInerney, linking up nicely out there with Hoare. So Jess Moore now is on the end of it for Bayswater. They're out of the danger zone, and again they hit up a target. Bouncing football, looking for Galvin. He's had a lot of touches early, gets it back to Moore on the left boot, dumps it up towards the wing but let himself down. Now another turnover for Lilydale in the middle. Here they go. Here's a really big go. I think this might be McNay again. Goes towards the top of the goal square and pushes it left and through for one behind. You've got to make the most of those opportunities. Bendigo Bank scoreboard 27.5 minutes tick over in the first term of the Division 2 elimination final. It's a 17-point lead to Bayswater. What's happening around the eastern suburbs in the other finals, Tim Fitzsimons?
Yeah, Rowville have their first goal of the day, 1-1-7. Blackburn still 2-4-16, I should say. Yes, 2-4-16, that's it.
So the ball brought back into play. This is Hoare, Cotty rather, up towards half-back. Sell flies for the mark, was spoilt by a couple of Falcons there. Galvin now weighing up his best option. Just goes the handball. They go backwards again, Bayswater. Moore is finding a target there at half-back. And Van Ruin back to Searle. Searle chips down the line. Beautiful hit up there. And this is Cunningham. So Cunningham inside forward 50. Just came off the boot there of Wooten, gaining valuable meterage, and just charging through there was Batty. And we'll see another ball up. And there's a siren for quarter time. It's Bayswater 4-3-27, leading by 17 points over Lilydale 1-4-10 at the first break. Jack Callanan has 2 majors for Bayswater, Vanderlack 1 along with Camera, while for Lilydale just the 1 major on the scoreboard. Ryan McNay has booted 1 goal, Ray.
And look, just a quick summary. Look, the first 10 minutes it was all Lilydale, but they certainly didn't hit the scoreboard. There was some missed opportunities there, but then Bayswater, they just worked themselves into it. Scott McInerney across the half-back line, for me, he's been the catalyst of a lot of their forward moves. But they're just running in numbers, bigger bodies, and at the moment, things are certainly going the Kangaroos' way.
Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. EFL.org.au all afternoon, streaming live right around the globe. 1 quarter down, there's 3 left. One side goes through, the other goes to Mad Monday, and we'll be back with all the action right after this.
It's important to tell our loved ones how much they mean to us. So don't wait till tomorrow, say it now. During Say It Now week, Tobin Brothers Funerals is encouraging you to tell loved ones what an inspiration they are and how much they mean to you.
Say it now, say how you really feeling.
Hashtag Say It Now week, August 20 to 26. Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
The EFL is all you love about football. Standing in the outer with your mates, kick to kick on the ground with the kids, always a family-friendly atmosphere. Don't miss a moment every weekend across the eastern suburbs. The Eastern Football League is local footy at its best. For more information, jump onto efl.org.au or search Footy EFL on Facebook or Twitter.
At Hogsbread Cafe, we're serving Aussie-style great food and a feel-good attitude. Now we're going the whole hog with pasta, more seafood, chicken, rib dishes and fresh salads. And always our famous 18-hour slow-cooked prime rib steak. What are you waiting for? Come in for lunch or dinner and experience the value that is Hogsbread Cafe.
Chadstone, Dandenong, Coringal, Knox Ozone and Water Gardens. Come in and experience some hospitality.
Our hospitality is all about you. We do great steak.
Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back. Quarter time here in the big elimination final between Lilydale and Bayswater in Division 2, and it's Bayswater holding sway at the moment. 4 goals, 3-27, leading Lilydale 1 goal, 4-10. The major goal kicker on the ground, Jack Callanan for Bayswater with 2 goals. And Dan Sensik, it was a quarter there that Lilydale started well, probably didn't put it on the scoreboard, but all of a sudden Blackburn, Bayswater just worked their way into the contest, and then they just continued to surge along, didn't they?
They've dictated the play, Bayswater, no doubt about it. Lilydale, we've seen glimpses and just fleeting glimpses of the way they want to play. That run and gun style of play, particularly across half forward, where they're very hard to stop with their leg speed. But the problem has been inaccuracy for one, but the other one too is Bayswater, their physicality around the contest has been superb. And they're winning a lot of contests based on that, and it's showing on the scoreboard.
One of the other important things, Dan, that I noticed in that quarter too was the fact that if Lilydale are going to get into the game, they have to make sure that when Bayswater make a mistake, and they've got to hurt them on the transition and try and catch them napping their half back line, who push up the ground a little bit. They've got to try and catch them napping.
Yeah, they didn't take advantage of that. There was a patch of play in for a couple of minutes there where Bayswater continually chipped the footy around, going backwards, going short, and it was just, I suppose it was just a matter of the Waters controlling the footy. But once they did make an error, Bayswater, Lilydale were able to pounce on it, but weren't able to make them pay the other way. So you're right there, Brush. They've really got to straighten that out. I think Bayswater, though, up forward, they've looked more methodical, haven't they?
Yes.
And Jack Cullen has been fantastic with his 2 goals, and they've just been able to make more of their opportunities. Matthew Camera, who's played well so far, he's been one that's sort of popped up and surprised me this season. I haven't seen a heck of a lot of him play in the last few years, or however long he's been around, but he's been named in their best players a few times, particularly towards this back half of the season where Bayswater have been in good form.
Well, he's only played 4 games in the senior, so he's probably had an injury-ridden year as well. Let's go down boundary side. Gav Casey.
Bayswater with a good lead at quarter time, leading by 17. I'm with the coach of Bayswater, Paul McCormack. Great first quarter. You've got to be happy that you ticked all the boxes with the basics.
Yeah, well, that's what it's about in that finals footy, just doing the right things, making sure that we put a head over the footy, try not to waste the ball, chaos to control. So, balls in chaos, try and get it and control it, and I think we did that pretty well. But, look, they're a good side, and they'll come back, and so it's on.
And what about a forecast for this quarter? What do you want to see from your boys?
We just got to keep lowering the eyes, keep using the ball well, and win at the source, and make sure that, we just control them, because they like to run. So if we can control them and use the ball well, then we'll be happy at half-time.
Good job. Well done.
Thanks, Gav. One of the other things, Dan, off that half-back line for Bayswater, Wayne McInerney's just getting too much of the ball on his own terms, and he's just racking up possessions at the moment. Ben Neagle's going to have to make the call and make him accountable.
That's finals experience, isn't it, though? It's been tremendous to see him so solid down back. Let's quickly go to Tim Fitzsimons with the score update.
Yeah, Division 1 elimination final. Only 3 goals scored in the first quarter. It's quarter time. Blackburn leading 2-5-17. Rowville 1-1-7.
Thank you there, Tim Fitzsimons.
So, second term here at Tormore Reserve. Elimination final between Bayswater and Lilydale. Mitchener won the tap as they look to surge forward now. Baker lost the footy, then kicked forward there by Moore with the clearance. Inside forward 50. Searle just wrestling off there. And Lopo just going backwards. Kick inside forward 50 to the top of the square. Great mark taken there by McGillivray-Smith.
I tell you what, if he goes back and kicks a goal here, it's really going to demoralise the Lilydale side.
So McGillivray-Smith will line up on a slight angle, probably about 35 metres out, to extend the Bayswater lead into the 20s. So he comes in, deliberate approach, kick off the boots, just away to the right-hand side, through for a minor score. Bayswater go to 4-4-28, Lilydale a 1-4-10. It's an even 18 points the margin early on in the second term here at Tormore Reserve.
You know that Lilydale are going to get a moment where they can get themselves back into the game. They're going to have to do it and do it very quickly.
They're going to have to hit some targets, because I'm not too impressed with the skills at the moment in this game as it goes out towards a half-back line, knocked away from Mitchener, who was the target. And that was well done by Hayden Schroeder there, getting in there and getting a timely fist on it.
That was really putting your body on the line there. He was horizontal when he punched that ball away from his opponent.
I to bring the ball back in now. Rucks go at it. Mitchener had the front spot, slapped it to ground level. We'll have another bounce. Bryce Batty trying to break away.
O'Reilly's done a fair job on Ryan Harvey at the moment. He's kept him out of the game. but won enough possessions himself to be dangerous.
18 points is the margin. Van Ruin from the stoppage. Up and under kick goes inside forward 50 over the top of Surly, and it almost clunked that one. He goes after it again, had some support. Little handball out wide. Here's Van Ruin on the left boot. Goes Goldwood now. Pokes it towards the top of the goal square. Callan, and he took the mark, but he was over the behind line, and through it goes for a minor score. Another one to Bayswater. Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 2 minutes tick over in this second term, a 19-point lead to the Baysy.
So just waiting up their best option now, the Falcons, to bring it back into play. Healy goes wide to the pocket and finds a teammate. So they're on the back foot here, the Falcons. They've really got to get going in this quarter because Bayswater have just been all over them in this game so far. Kick down the line, beautifully chopped off there by Schroeder. Schroeder goes backwards. Finds McInerney, who goes backwards again. And kick up towards centre half back. It's a bouncing one. Just clean bowls his teammate there, and McGilvray Smith. And just diving on the footy now, and I don't think that's going anywhere. The umpire calls for it. Ball up, smack bang in the middle of Tormore Reserve.
If you're going to play this slow style of football and try and pinpoint your passes, which is not Lilydale's game style, you're just playing into Bayswater's hands here.
Umpire throws it up now. Mitchner got it down. Van Ruin was there. Quickly met in a strong tackle there by Batty. Umpire said play on. Let's try and release the pill. Logo's in. He can't get it out, and let's have another ball up right in the heart of Tormore Reserve out of Baronia. Division 2 elimination final day, a 19-point lead to Bayswater over Lilydale. It's third versus fourth. Fourth's leading at the moment. Lilydale trying to do something about that scoreline. Goes up towards the Burston direction, linked up really nicely with Lowe on the left boot. Goes inside forward 50, looking for the Koga direction. Had the front spot, but he had too many opponents to contend with. So the McInerney boys, Scott to Wayne on the right boot, pokes the ball out towards the Vandalac direction. Needed to probably go after it a little bit harder there. Thought it might sit up for him. Right on his hammer out there is Brad Lowe. Did really well. Lilydale a chance to go forward. That's good play. Getting down, Class Henry takes a good mark, and he's tugged up in the forward pocket, but he's a class act, no pun intended, and he will look to put through his first goal of the afternoon. He's kicked 14 for the year.
Yeah, I don't think Paul McCormick would be too happy with that, with what Ash Vandalac. He just didn't attack the ball, thought it was all going to happen for him, and it didn't.
Class Henry comes in now on the left. Which way will this one go? It was close, but he pushed it left and through for one behind. Margin back to 18 points, 29 to 11 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Bayswater lead in the Division 2 elimination final.
So another opportunity goes begging for the Falcons after a great build-up there. McInerney brings it back into play out towards half-back. Lilydale in the front position there, but Cunningham now. It's on hands and knees, just paddled along the ground there nicely by Cotty. And still alive. Scooped upon by Baker, who looks inboard and finds a target there. Great mark taken there by Horsley. Gets it off to a teammate there in Harvey. Baker, once again, little chip kick down the line. Class Henry spilt it at the last moment, just trying to keep it alive. Healy tackled over the boundary line, and we'll see a throw in.
Yeah, they're under pressure, the forwards there of the Lilydale side. Trying everything just to snare a goal out of nothing.
So the ball tossed in half forward for the Falcons. They desperately need a goal here. Bayswater with a big thumping tap over the top. On the bottom of the pack there was Bernstein. Got it away to Batty, who belted it on the boot inside forward 50. Pack flies, no one able to take it. Searle looks like he's going to scoop it up, but it's Sciortino around the body to the left. And another opportunity gone begging for Lilydale. They go to one goal, 6-12. Bayswater a 4-5-29. 6 minutes gone in the second term here at Tormore Reserve.
Not a lot working for them up forward there, but all credit, you know, they're just having a go. That's the main thing.
So 6 minutes into this second quarter now. The sun's come out, which is always good to see. Wayne McInerney, the duck, on the right boot. Thumps the ball out, and that was a sensational kick as well, and the mark has been taken out there by Callanan, who's a very long way out from goal, the painted man. One leg, one arm on opposite sides. As the kick goes up, a big fly over the back that time there by Klepp. At the fall of the ball, here's Lopo on the right boot. Goes forward looking for Bryce Galvin, but it chopped off nicely by Bo Midgener, the big ruckman. He knows he has to do a tower of work today to get his side up. Wilson takes the mark, goes up towards the wing position. Now here's a go for Lilydale, when the kick was smothered. Nicely done there by Schroeder on Burnston that time. Now it's a chance for the Waters to go forward. O'Reilly inside, nicely done. Here's Eddie, gets it to Galvin, gets it to McGilvray. Smith around the body, can he put it through? He can't. He pushed it to the left-hand side. Well, that would have been a pretty impressive turnover goal there for Bayswater, but nonetheless, it is one behind. 30 plays 12. It's back to 18 points. What's the margin happening around in Division 1 this afternoon, Tim Fitzsimons?
I'll start with Division 3. Scoresby 1-4-10, leading Ringwood 2 behinds. And in Division 1, it is still Blackburn holding a lead 2-5-17 over Rowville 1-2-8.
Kick came out, Harvey takes it, and he's off to the races on the left boot, up towards the wing position now. Going out strongly at it was Brad Lowe. Kept it alive, Class Henry at the fall of the ball on the left. Lilydale, this is more promising. Kick towards the Koga direction. Nicely knocked away that time there by Hall. Ball hits the deck. Umpire says play on. Schroeder was in there, released the football just in the nick of time. Wiles on hands and knees. He got the handball away as well. It's just inside the 50 arc for Lilydale, and we'll have a ball up.
That Bayswater back line is still standing real strong.
So Rucks go at it again. Koga wins the tap down, but the Waters clear out a defensive 50. Only as far though as Schiottino, who wheels around, kick around the body, high up and under kick.
Kick to nowhere.
And probably should have weighted up his best option. McInerney now getting back, goes to O'Reilly.
The umpire called played
position.
on. Yeah, that's why he played on. The umpire called him on.
So O'Reilly just weighting up his best option now. Kick was a good one. Finds a target at half back there in McInerney of the Scott variety. Moves it on quickly. Cotty.
They don't panic, the back six of Bayswater. They just take their time, look for an option, and their disposal is perfect.
So Cotty finds Camera, who goes across the ground, finds McInerney. And this is what we've seen Bayswater do quite a bit of, just control the footy and play a real possession game. Great kick there down the line to Callanan at half forward. So what can he do here? Pops the Bayswater side inside forward 50 to the top of the square. Cunningham couldn't take the mark off hands. Trickles over the line and out of bounds for a throw in. Let's go down to Gav Casey, boundary side.
Well, it's something Paul McCormack said, chaos to come. 33 uncontested marks in the first term, so they control it when they can slow it down, and they're doing well with uncontested marks.
Gav Casey with all the stats that matter. So ball toss back into play. No one able to get the tap. There's been a free kick pulled out here for holding, and it looks like it's going to go the way of Mitchener against Joel Galvin. So Mitchener's been fantastic in this game for the Falcons so far, imposing in the ruck. Ball out on the wing in front of Cotty. Trickles over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, so there was a bit of a typo there on the scoreboard for the Division 3 semi-final. It's actually Ringwood 2-4-16 leading Scoresby 4 behinds. That's quarter time.
Ball to be brought back into play. Use your words, Ben, as it comes in now. It'll knock up towards the half-forward line. Bayswater just edging themselves forward. Burson was there. He laid a good tackle, had some support. Lilydale trying to get themselves out through Wilson, who just ducked into a tackle there on Galvin, and he's been pinged.
That's a good decision.
In fact, it was the big man Sheldon Smith who had one of the world's worst kicks inside forward 50, right towards the forward pocket. Klepp was there. Ball stays alive. Bayswater, they've just got the time. Little snap over the top there. McLeod ducked and weaved, got the handball away. Schroeder on the left boot kicks it towards the Cunningham direction. Got one handle on it. The big man will go after it again. Handball away. Yeah, I think he might have thrown that one, and the umpire has seen it. And it will be a free kick to Lilydale. The Falcon faithful breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, it's just stunted their momentum because they had all the play there, the run.
Dan Baldwin goes out. Burnston takes the mark across the half-back line. Lilydale, they need the next goal. There's no doubt about that. A sloppy kick up towards the wing position. It was touched off the boot. And we will have a ball up.
The one thing that Bayswater have done extremely well is they've really have shut down Lilydale's running game.
High throws it up. Which now went backwards. Galvin stole it, slammed it straight down the throat there of Smith, who kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Out in front, Ash Vanderlack. He's already kicked one. Chips the ball over the top. That's a good kick. Matty Cunningham out in front. Good jukes. Takes a strong mark, and he'll have a ping from 45 out.
Absolutely perfect kick. The defender can do nothing in that situation.
Nope, not a thing.
So Matthew Cunningham.
This is a goal that Bayswater need too now, just to keep the momentum going.
Gave it to Camera, I think.
On the right boot. And they kick the goal. That's Matty Camera's second of the afternoon on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and Bayswater stretched their lead to 24 points. We have gone 12 and a half minutes now.
Look, Ben Nagle wouldn't be happy with the way his side's playing, but to leave a player like that unmarked who can kick the ball a long way, to receive the hand pass as he's coming through, that is just very undisciplined play by Lilydale.
Yeah, well, there's too many of those Bayswater players that are getting the ball on their terms, Ray, without any pressure.
Yeah.
So back in the middle, very handy 4-goal lead now for the Waters. Mitchener winning the tap. Wilson was in there but couldn't take the footy. Now they look to go forward again. This is McGilvray Smith off to Camera again. This man puts it inside forward 50. Great hit up there. Callanan on the lead. And they've just been so methodical going forward. Callanan wastes no time. Up to the top of the goal square in the Cunningham direction. Can he take the mark? No, he can't. Off hands, and it's over the line for a minor score. Bayswater 5-7-37, Lilydale 1-6-12. 25 points the margin, 13 minutes gone second term in the elimination final. Klepp brings it back into play. Out wide to the flank, Searle battling hard at ground level, sees it over the boundary line for another throw-in. So 25 points the margin here. Lilydale are in strife, no doubt. They desperately need the next goal to state the bleeding obvious. Ball tossed back into play. Healy wheels around, gets to a teammate. Long kick down the line. Beautiful fist away though was good. Schroeder has been fantastic so far for the Waters.
His defensive play, Schroeder's been excellent today.
Yeah, very good, very good.
So ball to be tossed in almost right in front of our broadcast position here at Tormore Reserve. So Rucks go at it again. On the bottom there was Van Ruin. Wrapped up in the tackle there, it was Lowe. Rather, it was O'Donoghue. And we'll see another bounce on the wing here.
So the umpire throws it up straight into the arms there of Batty on the left boot. He was over the top of Wilson's head. It goes deep in class. Henry spun on a throb. Did it second time. Little chip kicker was smothered. Schroeder ducked and weaved. Did really well. Got it away to Moore. They're linking up okay across the half back line. They're doing really well. Bayswater. McLeod goes out wide. Mark has been taken. And they're going to go really far back here. McInerney switches it to Galvin, hits him on the chest, so back to the broadcast side. Searle was the lead, he went shorter. Scott McInerney takes it. Searle still all by himself, but the kick goes up towards the Callanan direction. True centre wing position here. Over the back it goes. Klepp got the handball away. Nicely done there by Del Biondo. Eventually in the arms of Morrison, whose kick was nicely smothered there by Searle. Nice, but Healy picked the ball up. Eventually in the arms now of Burnston. They're going to weave themselves across the half back line. Squeeze a kick up there by Klepp. Risky business kicking in towards the middle of the ground. Couldn't trap it there was Hells. Now here's a go. Jess Moore for Bayswater. Puts the ball forward at the back of the pack there. Callanan, he had 3 players to beat. Burnston was there, the first player for Lilydale. Last line of defence, short pass out. Healy takes it across the defensive 50. A score around the grounds from Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, Rowville with a really strong start to the second quarter. They now have hit the lead 3-3-21 to Blackburn 2-5-17.
Healy on the right boot, just squeezed to kick up. Geez, that was risky too. Sam Horsley takes it, but a good mark. Lopo right on his hammer. So Horsley on the left, along the wing position. Big fly over the back there, and a great mark by the big ruckman, Adam O'Donoghue, who took it on the second bite. This looks like he'll be looking for a handball here. Takes his time getting up. We've got to be a little bit quicker about this. What a time for players to get back into position. A bit of a sausage roll kick up towards the half-forward line, straight through the arms there of Baldwin. Galvin just took the mark there and then squeezed a kick in towards the middle of the ground. Now here's a go that was up towards the Cunningham direction, knocked away from him by Klep. Cunningham goes after it again, wrapped up in a strong tackle by Batty, but it comes out wide. Kick goes forward for Bayswater towards Callanan. Over the top of his head it goes. Del Biondo was right there. Happy, very happy to see the boundary line right underneath the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's a 25-point lead to Bayswater. 17 minutes gone in the second term.
They really are. They're physically really working Lilydale over here at the moment, Bayswater. They're not putting it on the scoreboard, but that might come later.
So ball toss back into play. O'Donoghue went up unopposed. Got the tap down to no real advantage though. Now McLeod snaps around the body and kicks a nice goal. And Bayswater...
That was
Cotty, yeah.
Streaming away now, Bayswater, 6-7-43. Lilydale, 1-6-12. It's 31 points the difference on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
And that's that scoreline. You look at the Lilydale players now, their body language. They've all dropped their heads. They're walking back to the centre slowly. Look, they've got to just keep at it. Keep at it. Work hard till half-time. Reassess at half-time and hope you can come out and do a better job after the break.
They did all right to hold Bayswater for about 10 minutes there in the second quarter without any damage on the goals.
One thing that's happened in this quarter, in the first quarter, Joel Galvin played some of the ruck work. What they've been able to do is rest him a little bit on the half-back line. He's got the ball several times this quarter and just rest him on the ground there and he'll come into the game again later on.
Well, Bryce Galvin goes up in the ruck. He's the main ruckman. Joel does a bit of work around the grounds. O'Donoghue over the back. Got the knock down. Straight into the arms there of Schroeder, who's wrapped up. In fact, it was Aaron Cotty. Won't deprive him for the rest of the afternoon, we promise. I'll to restart this one. Just outside the edge of the centre square here. A lot of players around the football. Little backhander out the back. It goes out towards McGilvray Smith. Go after it again. There might have been a little bit of a push there on Pritchard, or he gave the push. So free kick to Lilydale. Need to create something, don't they? Ciortino on the left boot up towards the Wilson direction. He was a small player in a 2-on-1 situation. Maybe not the best target, but it goes over and it's on the forward line, half forward line at the moment for Lilydale. 6-7-43 to 1-6-12. EFL.org.au all afternoon, right around the globe. Australia's #1 metropolitan football competition. Division 2 at its best today. Galvin had to go after it a third time and got the handball away looking for Van Ruin, who almost went over the top of the fence there.
Almost head-butted the light post there.
Almost could have stolen one of the boys' cans over the other side of the fence as well. Try to bring the ball back in. O'Donoghue back spot. Looked like he had to sit there. Umpire said play on. Van Ruin almost could have caught one in the back from Wilson. Umpire said that was okay. Working himself out of a phone booth house. Inside forward 50. Koga, he's been dying to get an opportunity to get on the scoreboard and he takes the mark. He's well within range, but a difficult angle.
Yeah. Couldn't be in a worse spot to kick a goal on this ground.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll take what they can get at the moment, Lilydale. 41 goals for the season. Lockie Koga, class act. I'm going to back him in from here. We've started out right. Hope to bring it straight back through. Comes in now. He'll have to kick it every bit of 50 metres. He kicks it across the face of goal. Bayswater have the numbers at the fall of ball. Nicely done there by Eddie in the helmet. On the right boot, got it out. And I tell you what, that was a sensational kick to James Pritchard, who takes the mark.
But they had 6 blokes on the line there, Bayswater.
Yeah.
Pritchard on the left boot. Drives the ball up towards the wing position now. And Lilydale had all the numbers there, and it might just work out okay for them. Kick goes forward, inside forward 50. Ryan McNay takes the mark. He might just have to kick it from outside. He kicked a goal in the first term, and he looks like he's going to go back and back himself in from here.
Gee, if there's ever a time they needed a goal, it's now, Lilydale. And that's stating the obvious.
So Ryan McNay, not in the top 10 leading goal kickers for Lilydale this year, but he's doing his bit this afternoon. That's a nice kick off the boot. It had the purchase, but just not the accuracy, and through for one behind. 21 minutes tick over in the second term of the Division 2 elimination final. And it's a 30-point lead to Bayswater. Tim Fitzsimons around the grounds on the score centre.
Yeah, Scoresby have their first goal of the game through Dale Hare. Scores, they're 1-4-10, still trailing Ringwood 2-4-16, 4-minute mark, second term.
So Moore goes short to Scott McInerney in the back pocket. I think they'll just slow things down here, Bayswater. Cotty takes the mark at half back. Looking to go backwards again, risky business. Back to McInerney, who goes across goal. It's for his brother now in Wayne. Down the line, Camera takes it again. He's had a sensational first half, Matt Camera. Yeah. Long kick down the line. Great mark taken there by Schroeder. Speaking of sensational first halves, up towards half forward. Great mark taken there by Vanderlack. Vanderlack just chips it over the top. Beautiful kick. Miller wearing the headband. Up towards the top of the goal square. Galvin's got 2 to beat. They look to win out here, the Falcons, if they can just get purchase on the footy. Around the corner, Miller again to the top of the square, wrestles on O'Reilly, unable to take it. And now Healy just looking to work things out. Missed kick though in the end. And they've got plenty of support around them, the Falcons, and they'll move it down the wing. And Baker, unable to take the mark, has 2 to beat. Got a teammate in support though. Cotty once again just shoveling the handball out. Moore once again taken down in the tackle. Umpire called play on. McNay gets the footy back now. And he's been brought to ground. Umpire called play on again. Footy in the middle of the ground now. Batty.
Good pick-up.
Great pick-up there. O'Donoghue, the ruckman, over the top. Horsley. Long kick inside forward 50. They need a mark here. Mitchener in the front position, unable to take it. Camera again goes to Schroeder. He'll look for Searle at half back. And Searle just feeding out the handball back to Camera. Little chip pass was good to Van Ruin.
Van Ruin now on the right boot, spears a pass up, and Miller comes out and takes the mark. So Kieran Miller had to get wrapped up from a blood rule earlier in this game. Wind up now on the left boot. He sort of just chipped away at it in the end. It was an absolute shocker, and Bryce Batty underneath that one takes an easy mark across the half back line. Short passes on for Healy. That's ignored. So Batty wants to go for the switch. Kicks the ball out wide. It created a foot race there for Scortino. Goes out towards the Joel Galvin direction. I don't know what Batty was thinking out there, kicking towards one of the champions of the EFL in Galvin. Nonetheless, Lilydale get another chance to go forward up towards Wilson. Takes the mark and takes off. Inside forward 50. It was a kick in hope because he wasn't really looking. Schroeder, little toe poke off the ball, off the ground. Third time lucky over she goes for a boundary throw in. 25 metres out from the Lilydale goal line. Geez, they're desperate for a goal. They trail by 30 points. 24 minutes tick over. Time is of the essence. Bayswater kick the next goal. I'm almost going to call it out here. Comes down. Healy's got something to say about that one though. Got it away to Wilson. Squared the kick up. It was touched off the boot. It looked like Searle went after it really strong. Won the free kick. Should have been advantage to Moore. Umpire said bring it back. We'll give it to Ben Searle. He's been paid the mark, and for that sort of courage, we'll allow that to happen as well. Tim Fitzsimons has got some more scores.
Yeah, Rowville leading by 4 points, 5-3-33. Blackburn 4-5-29.
A big clash out there, of course. Peter Baird out at Ringwood and Scoresby today. We'll be chatting to him at half-time. Hayden Schroeder takes the mark in the back pocket, chips the ball over the top. Hall takes it. Across the defensive 50 now for Bayswater. Gets the handball away. Kick goes up towards the wing position. Cunningham almost just pulled that one in the one hand, but nicely done there by Mitchner. Got the handball away. Del Biondo up towards the middle of the ground now. They'll work themselves out here. Here's Batty on the left boot. Drives the ball inside forward 50 over the top of Kogar. Reading the ball beautifully. Wayne McInerney just takes a mark. Kicks it out towards the Van Ruin direction. Over the top of his head it goes. So Batty will be the first player for Lilydale who's really stepped up in the last few moments. McNay now got the handball away. They're working in a series of handballs here, Lilydale, and just trying to hit up a target. Getting down low there was Wilson, who takes it as a siren sounds to announce half-time out here in the Division 2 elimination final. It went only 25 minutes and 54 seconds that second term. And it is Bayswater 6-7-43 to 1-7-13. Major goal kickers on the ground. Matty Camera, he's had a fantastic first half. He's booted too, as has Jack Cullen. And hope you're enjoying the broadcast on afl.org.au, streaming live around the globe. Of course, we'll go out to the big clash in Division 3 and have a chat with Peter Baird at half-time between Ringwood and Scoresby, and be back with what is sure to be a very entertaining final 60 minutes in this Division 2 clash.
Bigger and better, Netball EFL is back. The fastest growing competition in the eastern suburbs continues to expand. Don't miss the fast-paced action every Friday night across multiple venues. For more information or to get involved, head to efl.org.au.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
Program sponsor.
Never miss out on the latest information on the Eastern Football League through the league's social media channels. Live updates, information and scores through the league's Twitter account. The latest news and views on Facebook. Don't miss EFL Game Day or the Match Footage Hub on YouTube. And all those happy snaps on the league's Instagram account. Simply search Footy EFL.
Kids eat free Mondays and Tuesdays for a limited time at Hog's Breath Cafe. Get out! When an adult dines at Hog's Breath Cafe, you also get a kids meal free. Select from any one of our special kids meal combos with a soft drink and ice cream. That's Hospitality. Mondays and Tuesdays for a limited time. So get in for our great kids meal deal. Kids eat free at Hog's Breath Cafe. Love you to join us. Call 1-800-HOGSTAR. Chadstone, Dandenong, Coringal, Knox Ozone, Water Gardens and Geelong. Come in and experience some Hospitality.
Program sponsor.
G'day, Billy Brownless here from The Footy Show. KFC Almost Footy Legends is back in 2018 and we're searching for the best highlights from local footy. Head to 9now.com.au/AFL Footy Show and upload your entry for a chance to win $35,000 cash plus a year's supply of KFC.
Program sponsor.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding.
Yeah, that's right.
At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Half-time in the big Division 2 elimination final clash between Bayswater and Lilydale, and Bayswater hold a very handy 30-point lead at half-time. It's Bayswater 6-7-43 leading Lilydale 1-7-13. Goal kickers for Bayswater, 2 each to Callanan and Camera, I should say, and singles to Cotty, I should say, and Vanderlack, whilst for Lilydale, Ryan McNay, their only goal kicker with 1. And joining me for the half-time break, Gav Casey, our banjo rider, and Dan Sensick. Gentlemen, again, really, where Bayswater have really controlled the contest from about the 10-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, they've dictated the play, haven't they? And they're playing a real possession game. I know you touched on it, Gav, with Paul McCormack saying in his quarter-time address that to control the possession, control the tempo of the game, which they've been doing. When they've found themselves on the rare occasion on the back foot, Bayswater, that's exactly what they've done. They've just chipped it around, milked up a few seconds, and got the game back on their terms. They've been more methodical going forward to the Roos, haven't they? They've been able to hit up targets, whereas Lilydale's goals, their only goal has really been more an opportunistic type of situation. But it's been interesting to see that just around the ground, the contests, Bayswater have cracked in a lot harder. They've got those finals hardened bodies, don't they? That have won finals before, that have stood up in finals and taken them all the way 2 years ago with a very similar list, and that's shining through now, Gav.
Yeah, the problem is they're not getting first hands, Lilydale, and they'd rather actually hit the short pass so they could play on situation. They're getting no clean run off the half-back line. Even the times they try to play on around the man on the mark, the man on the mark's managed to smother it umpteen times. So the small things, Bayswater are doing the small things well. They're getting control of the ball, maintaining it, and progressing forward in a calm way. These, as Paul McCormack says it, and in Lilydale are just reacting, and they can't get first hands, and they can't progress into the forward line with any system whatsoever.
I think one of the more important things too is the Bayswater half-back line. Gav has played the perfect disciplined game that you want from that half-back line. When the balls come down there, right, when they've not been in position to mark the ball, they've done the discipline thing and hit and punch the ball out of the opponent's hands. And look, Schroeder's probably been the best exponent of that this afternoon, Dan.
Are they out of gas, Lilydale? Because their last month of footy has been average at best. They beat Mulgrave last week. They lost 3 in a row leading into that clash. Is this yet another example of the month they've had?
I just think that you could be right, Dan. I mean, look, we always said it at the start of the year, and we got our it's half time, and we've got our special guest, our roving reporter Pete Baird, out at the big Division 3 clash between Ringwood and Scoresby. It's half time there. Good afternoon, Peter.
Yeah, g'day, Brash. It's not actually half time here, mate. We're running about 10 minutes behind you. We had a draw in the reserves game that went to extra time. So we're approaching the 20-minute mark of the second term now, and Scoresby have just kicked their third for the quarter. After in the first quarter, there were no goals kicked for the first 26 minutes of the quarter, but Ringwood were able to hit 2 late goals late in the quarter. It was a real dour contest, the sort of ball pinging between the 250-metre arcs with real tough tackling pressure. But at quarter time, it was Ringwood with the only 2 goals of the quarter. They led 2-5-17 to Scoresby 4 behind 4 points. In the second term, Scoresby started really well. They were able to find some space, which Ringwood really denied them in the first quarter. And Dale here in the first 4 minutes kicked Scoresby's first for the game to bring the margin back to a goal. But then 3 goals in 5 minutes to Scoresby sort of blew it wide open again. And it almost looked as though Ringwood were going to open their game up and run away with it a little bit. But in the last 5 minutes here, Scoresby have kicked 2 goals, and the margin's back now to 13 points. So it's really a really tight contest out here, and it's been characterised by a lot of tough tackling pressure, a lot of poor disposal from both teams inside their forward 50. But at the end of the day, Ringwood now have just kicked another goal to put the margin back out to 19 points now. So we're approaching the 20-minute mark of the 25-minute mark of the second term. It's Ringwood 6-5-41 leading Scoresby 3-4-22. But really, it's anybody's game. But Ringwood are really just controlling the tempo of the game at the moment, having it played on their terms. So Scoresby may need to look to try and change it up after half-time if they can hang in this game.
I'm going to ask the bleeding obvious question, Pete. Are Ringwood missing Trent Farmer?
Trent Farmer's not playing. They also had a late admission. Kelvin Gregg was a late admission from their side today as well. So I was quietly confident that Scoresby might be able to get the job done this afternoon, but Ringwood have really controlled the tempo and had the game played on their terms. So it's an interesting contest at the moment. Scoresby, for the first quarter where it was really tight and really tough and slow ball movement, this quarter we've seen 6 goals kicked already in 20 minutes, and Scoresby have now got the ball deep inside their forward 50-metre and having a shot at goal. Dale here is having another shot. So It's going to fall short, but probably a really big fly from one of the Scoresby players in the goal square, unable to take the mark though. So, but yeah, we've seen a lot more goals kicked this quarter than what we did in the first. So it's starting to open up a little bit. It's probably the way Scoresby need the game to be played, because while Ringwood are controlling the tempo, they're not going to really have much of a look in. So Scoresby, they really need to open it up a bit and try and move the ball a bit quicker. It's only a 3-goal lead at half-time, approaching half-time. But, at the moment, Ringwood are just having played in the way they want it played.
Who have been the better players for both sides, Pete, and any sort of highlights heading into half-time?
Mark Williams had a fantastic first quarter for Scoresby. Paul Chadwick's been in amongst everything. For Ringwood, Mitch Farmer's done a really good job through the midfield, and Ben Power, their ruckman's controlled, given the midfielders first use. They're all single goal kickers at the moment, so there hasn't been a real dominant goal kicker at the moment. But I mean, we've seen two really contrasting styles of play between the first two quarters. In the first quarter, it was really slow, stagnant ball movement from both teams, almost feeling each other out. But this quarter, it's almost end-to-end. I mean, I was only talking a minute ago about the ball being deep in Scoresby forward line. Ringwood have just rebounded the full length of the ground and having a shot at the other end now themselves. So it's really contrasting the way that the game's changed in this second term.
Pete, just getting back to that reserves game, I know Scoresby was playing. What was the result and who were they playing?
They were playing Heathmont. It was all locked up after full time. After the first period of extra time, scores were still level. Both teams kicked at points each in the first period of extra time, but then in the second period of extra time, it went goal for goal. Both teams kicked 2 goals, but then Scoresby, very late in the last period of extra time, kicked a goal and are behind to eventually run out winners by 7 points over Heathmont.
Are you game to pick Scoresby can get up in this other game?
Ringwood have just kicked that set shot on goal they've just had now, so the margin's out to 24 points, and the Scoresby have only kicked 3 goals, 5 for the first half of footy. It's probably a pretty big margin at the moment. They're going to need to come out in the start of the third quarter and try and turn things around pretty quickly, or else this game's going to get beyond them very quickly.
Well, Pete, thanks very much for giving us a half-time report on the big Division 3 second semi-final clash out at East Burwood this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of the game, mate, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
No worries at all, Brash. Talk to you soon.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Pete Baird there out at East Burwood this afternoon. Tim Fitzsimons, you got another score update for us?
Yeah, in Division 1, it's half-time in the elimination final out at Central Reserve, and it looks like to be an absolute cracker for anyone that's out there. Scores currently level. Rowville 6-5-41, Blackburn 6-5-41 as well. Tim Watkins kicked 2 late goals for Blackburn in that second term. The second of those was right in the half-time siren to level it up. So tight clash, and it could go either way at Glen Waverley.
Well, that's a ripper game in store there for us in the big elimination final in Divi 1. Bayswater are back on the field, and when we come back, all the big action from a second half that's so important for the Lilydale football. It's EFL Division 2 elimination final day. It's Lilydale versus Bayswater. Stay tuned.
G'day, Billy Brownless here from The Footy Show. KFC Almost Footy Legends is back in 2018, and we're searching for the best highlights from local footy. Head to 9now.com.au/AFL Footy Show and upload your entry for a chance to win $35,000 cash plus a year's supply of KFC.
Program sponsor.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mum for everything she's done.
My brother's been having a pretty rough time. I'd like to reassure him that it'll be okay.
I'm sorry that it ended up badly and we didn't remain friends.
I was pretty tough on my brother when he was younger, and I'd like to apologise to you now, mate.
It's never too late to apologise, forgive, or say something you've always wanted to say to someone. So reach out and tell a loved one what they mean to you. Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
Nothing better than a companion to keep you up to date with all the latest when you're at the footy. Better still, one that fits in your back pocket. The Eastern Footballer is a must-read. All the latest information, team lists, feature articles and much, much more. Pick up your copy this weekend as you love it local across the Eastern Football League.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
Program sponsor.
Welcome back. Second half just about ready to get underway. And quickly, Ray Baird, important 10 minutes for Lilydale in this opening third quarter, because if Bayswater kick a couple of goals quickly, it could be the end of the line, could it?
It certainly is, Brash, and they're 5 goals down at half time, and they haven't looked like they've been able to get into the game. It's just the bigger bodies of Bayswater have pushed them off the ball, controlled the game, and Lilydale, well, I don't know if they've made any positional changes, but if they go with the way that they went in the first half, they certainly won't win this game of football.
They've got to try and find some run out of the midfield. Yeah. They're just not they can't get their hands on the ball. This is, like I said, this is a really important 10 minutes, and the man that's going to start us off in this third quarter, it's over to you, Dan Sensi.
Yeah, thanks, Brash. The Premiership quarter here at Tormore Reserve. It's 5 goals the difference. Bayswater 6-7-43. Lilydale 1-7-13. Umpire holds the ball aloft to start the third term. As Brash mentioned, crucially important opening 10 minutes coming up for the Falcons. Mitchener wins the tap. Vanderlack, though, spins his way out of trouble, but the Falcons get the clearance inside forward 50. Great contest there at the fall of the ball, though, was Healy. What can he do? He looks up a better option now in it's Bernstein around the body, and gee, he was going for goal and he's missed the lot.
Oh, Class Henry.
Class Henry.
You can't tell them alike. They're nearly the same. They're like twins.
One's wearing long sleeves, the other's not. So there's a fairly distinguishable.
Well, actually, both of them are wearing long sleeves.
But it's going to be McInerney of the Scott variety to bring it back into play. Waste no time. Long booming kick up towards half-back. Great fly there from Callanan. Couldn't take the mark. Now Klepp just trying to burst his way out of the tackle, but wrapped up there by Lopo. And we'll see a ball up, or a free kick rather, to Klepp.
Got to do something here, Paddy Klepp.
So he's got to spot up an option. They haven't been too methodical going forward, Lilydale. Just pops it up there in the direction of Lowe, or Morrison rather, and the ball just trickling to camera. Galvin now just tries to work his way through a pack of Falcons, and great tackle there by McNay. He's won himself the free kick and the opportunity to try and slot Lilydale's second goal for the afternoon and bring the margin back down under 5 goals.
Well, the Falcons really swooped there and they really gang tackled and finally won a crucial inside 50 free kick.
So lining up for his second goal of the afternoon, Ryan McNay has seen a fair bit of the footy, particularly in the first half of this game, as he comes in, very deliberate approach. Kick looks okay off the boot. It's away though, the left-hand side, and through for a minor score. Lilydale go to 1 goal, 8-14, trails Bayswater 6-7-43, 29 points the margin, 2 minutes gone in the third term here at Tormore Reserve. Elimination final, potentially less than an hour left for Lilydale in season 2018. If they don't get a move on, they've just got to kick goals. McInerney brings it back into play, finds Moore deep in the back pocket. So here's that possession style game again. They're playing Bayswater, just controlling the tempo. Up towards half back, no one able to take the mark. Van Ruin scoops on the footy. Camera, quick kick down the wing, straight down the throat of Mitchener though. The ruckman looks laterally, goes to Klepp. And Klepp switches again into the middle of the ground. And this is Wooten. Smack bang in the middle of Tormore Reserve. Little chip kick over the top to Horsley. On the wing. He's looking for his best option. Up towards centre half forward. Schroeder chopping it off once again. He's had a sensational game, Hayden Schroeder. Goes backwards to his skipper in Galvin. And Galvin will just look for his best option now. Goes wide. Finds McInerney. Scott McInerney in the back pocket. Looks like he'll go backwards again to Galvin.
They've got to get it out of there.
Got a lot to kick to though. Looks like they've gone man on man, Lilydale. So he might just have to pop it up. to a contest. Tries to sell a bit of candy, trying to find his way out of trouble. Schroeder, little handball over the top was good. Cotty down the wing, finds Searle on the chest.
Tim Fitzsimons around the grounds on the score centre.
Yeah, we just heard from Pete Baird there late in the second term out between Ringwood and Scoresby. It's now half time and it's Ringwood leading 7-5-47 to Scoresby 3-5-23.
Well, Lopo snapped the ball around the body inside forward 50. It goes Vanderlack. This might sit up okay for him. He might have a shot on goal. Oh, he was indecisive. And he's been pinged. He almost should have been given away a free kick there to Horsley, but over
that's
the
the second time Ash Vanderlack's tried to second guess himself there and not take the first option.
High to bring the ball back in. Bayswater lead 43-14. Going nowhere, Mel McGilvray Smith, and we'll have a ball up. 4.5 minutes tick on in this third term. Division 2 elimination final day. Lilydale and Bayswater. Bayswater, who finished fourth, are in control of this contest at the moment, and it's in their forward line. Here's Searle, snaps around the body. It had enough on it, and underneath it was Kurt Lopo, who takes the mark, and surely he'll go back and have a shot from here. He'll kick from 40. Difficult angle, but a class act. So Kurt Lopo, 14 goals for the season. He makes it 15. They'll take some sort of stopping. That's a good looking kick off the boot. It drifted and drifted though. Wing getting hold of that at the last moment and through for one behind. So Bendigo Bank scoreboard now sees Bayswater 6-8-44. They lead by an even 30. 5-goal margin against Lilydale, who bring the ball back in. They need some sort of run up towards a batty direction. Over the top of his head it goes. McInerney spears it inside forward 50. Jack Callanan comes out and takes the mark, and they'll go for take two. Callanan just wants to take off. Forget the take two. Put the goal through, Jackie, you little beauty. Make that number 3 for Jack Callanan this afternoon. Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Bayswater 7-8-50. Lilydale 1-8-14. I'm calling it. It's over.
That was just confidence. You know, Callanan thought, I can kick this from out here. He's taken 2 steps and he bombed a bomber in there and got the point.
I'm just wondering whether Ben Neagle's basically put up the white flag with what to do about manning Wayne McInerney up. He's just allowed to run around and do what he likes. That's not accountable for. That's unaccountable football for a finals.
Ball back in the middle now, comes out low on the right boot, dumps the ball inside forward 50. They need something out in front there. Morrison, he went for the second bite. It was knocked away from him. Wilson came charging through, dispossessed by Eddie. That was good play over the top. McLeod got the handball back. McInerney back into the back pocket. Moore takes the mark. Bayswater a chance to just slow things down.
So Moore goes long down the line, looking for a teammate there in McLeod. Wrestled up though by Baker. Vanderlack wraps him up in the tackle, and we'll see a ball up on the wing. He's tried so hard in this game, Baker, hasn't he? As we saw him a fortnight ago. He's not the biggest guy on the ground, but he'll always have a crack.
I think McNay at the moment is probably Lilydale's best player.
So Rucks go at it. Mitchener wins another tap. It's Van Ruin trying to work his way out of trouble. O'Reilly just paddling the ball now. Great pick up there by Batty. Swung around in the tackle, and now they look to surge forward Lilydale, but plenty of Bayswater players around the footy. Galvin just feeds out the handball nicely there to his brother. Out wide. Great mark taken there by Pritchard. And he'll look to slow things down, you'd think. As Bayswater well on top in this game. They're 7-8-50. Lilydale 1-8-14. 36 points the margin. Little chip kick down the line was a good one. Smack bang on the wing of Tormore Reserve, up towards half forward. Great mark, Bryce Galvin. All he do, just pop it over the top now, looking for a target there. Pritchard again.
Where are Lilydale manning up down the back? They
need to man up, don't they?
They're just not manning up. Their Bayswater are doing what they want to do.
So Moore back to Galvin. And he'll put it up inside forward 50 now to the contest. Callanan. The bottom of the pack. And,
that was well done by Jack. That was really well done by Jack Callanan there, because he was off balance and he still managed to create a stoppage with 4 Lilydale players around him.
So on the 50-metre arc here, for the Bayswater. They look to burst out of trouble though, Lilydale. Miss handball was looking for Baker. And he takes it over the boundary line for a throw-in. 8.5 minutes gone. Bayswater by 36 points. 7-8-50. Lilydale 1-8-14 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Mitchin to go up against Galvin of the Joel variety. This time the 227s go at it at the back of the pack. Healy, little handball away. Van Bruin hit the deck. Healy on top of him and will have a ball up. 6 goals is the margin out here. Never much of a venue to get high scoring. Kick goes forward now for Bayswater. Tumbling kick. McGilvray Smith to the top of the goal square. Callanan takes it. Callanan kicks his fourth. And I tell you what, they are going to take some sort of beating. I think they almost might have one eye on next week's clash against Upper Ferntree Gully, but we won't call it over till it's over, except I'm calling it over.
Well, look, I think we were always a bit worried about the opening 10 minutes, and it has come to pass that Bayswater have kicked the opening 2 goals. On top of that 6-goal lead, gee, it's going to be tough. The Lilydale are playing for pride now.
8-8-56 to 1-8-14.
So they need to reply desperately here, Lilydale. They need the clearance, and they get it through Batty up towards half forward. Great mark taken there. Baldwin. Oh, little grubber kick around the body. Found Bernstein. Now he's made to work for it. Switches it across the ground, looking for a teammate there in Morrison, who takes the mark. And Callum Morrison has been in and out of this game, but it's one of very few plays today where we've seen Lilydale just wait up their best option and hit a target inside forward 50. On the contrary, Bayswater have done it time and again, and it's really showing on the scoreboard.
They really do need this goal. Lilydale, they have to kick this goal.
So Callum Morrison comes in. Not too much of an angle to speak of. Kicks a good-looking one off the boot, and he's kicked it. Yeah. Callum Morrison, desperately needed goal for Lilydale. They go to 2-8-20. Bayswater 8-8-56 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Is there life left in this Lilydale outfit, Ray?
No, I don't think there is. That's a constellation goal as far as I'm concerned. I'm very disappointed with the Lilydale.
Constellation?
Yeah.
Like stars.
Okay. I'm very disappointed with the Lilydale coaching staff because they've basically come out after being 4 or 5 goals down at halftime, and nothing's changed as far as structures go.
Paul McCormick must be liking this.
What you've got to do is drag those defenders out of the plate. The half forwards of Lilydale, go to the boundary, take your defender with you.
Shout out to Matt Fodia watching his boys Lilydale up from the Queensland with the Victorian cricket team.
He turned it off 10 minutes ago.
No, he hasn't. He's still watching. He thinks there's still a chance as the ball comes forward now. Nicely done by Pritchard. He's done well. Got the handball away. McGilvray Smith quickly wrapped up. We'll have a ball up across the half forward line.
Oh, well, at least Matt won't die wondering.
I wonder if they'll feature in the 5 this week.
Comes out now, McNay. Trapped it, little toe poke off the ball. Came out Galvin, who was just happy to sit on it.
Will he have 5 things to write about this week?
I had to throw it up. Plenty of excitement happening around at other venues today. There's no doubt about that. Here's a chance now for Lilydale to go forward again. McInerney, though, for Bayswater, got down low. Over the top of him was Morrison. McInerney goes after it again. Class Henry wrapping him up. Umpire says it was okay. Centre half forward for Lilydale.
Probably about the only time Wayne McInerney's made a little mistake.
He still didn't get pinged. Throws it up now. Morrison knocked it over. Baldwin was there. Handball out wide. This is a bit of a go here. Wiles, can they get 2 on the board in a couple of minutes? No, because it's gone through for another behind. Left of the goals there for Lilydale. 2-9-21 to 8-8-56. 13 minutes tick by third term.
One player I reckon Lilydale missing this afternoon is Brandon Drossler. That extra ruckman with a bit of leg speed through the midfield.
So Wayne McInerney kicks to himself, plays on up towards half back. Fist fly as Bayswater look to work their way out of trouble. Moore in the front position. Lopo just wrapping up Baker in the tackle. And a ball up right in front of our commentary position here at Tormore Reserve. 13 minutes gone. It's 35 points the margin in favour of Bayswater. So Rucks go at it again. Mitchener wins the tap. Burnston just tries to burn off Miller there, and he's taken over the boundary line. And we'll see another boundary throw in.
As you say, right in front of our caravan. The only thing between us and the ball is Gavin Casey.
And a couple of police officers probably coming to pick you up, mate, as the umpire comes in now, throws it over the back of the pack there. Burnston on hands and knees. Out there was Pritchard. He's had a good term. Tim Fitzsimons around the grounds on the score centre.
Yeah, as many might know, Nunawading had a game today to try and get their first win in a while, and they had a big win, 200 points.
By 200 points?
200 points.
Really?
Shoes on the other foot.
So, yeah, okay. Well, that's good for them.
Yeah, poor old Ardmona. They must be very, very poor.
So,
unfortunate.
Bayswater up towards the wing position. Still doesn't count on our EFL books, that's for sure.
That's right.
Comes out, Kurt Lopo takes the mark, squeezes the kick out. Moore takes it for Bayswater. Still a couple of kicks from home. Well, it'll be a couple more now because Moore wants to switch the play. Across it goes. It was a bouncing football. It's now gone into the defensive arc where Wayne McInerney switches the ball out towards Eddie. It's going to sit up well for him on the right boot. Kick goes up along the wing where Schroeder over the back tried to keep it alive, and over it goes for a boundary throw.
Well, I tell you what, Ray, you could probably build a pond for Wayne McInerney this afternoon, because I tell you what, there's just no one's getting within cooey of him. I mean, he's just allowed to do what he likes.
I'm just amazed at the space that the Bayswater players have been given. So ball toss back into play. Mitchener wins the tap. Baker paddling it to the front. Lopo tries to keep it in play and doesn't. We'll see a throw in on the wing. Just on that last point, those errors that Bayswater have made around the contest, usually Lilydale make sides pay for that, and they've been nowhere near the contest.
No.
So ball tossed in again. Mitchener front position. White got a fist to it though. Brought to ground nicely there. The Lilydale man in Clep by Lopo. Was that a great game? And the umpire calls for the footy.
In final series, this is where you need some really experienced guys to help stand up, just to give these younger guys a bit of leadership. It's not coming. The senior guys from Lilydale are not stepping up to the plate here.
So low brought to ground as they look to surge forward again, the Falcons. Harvey picks it up, kicks it long, inside forward, 50. Oh, gee. Cut off there by Wayne McInerney, as he's done so much today.
$50 Coles Myer card might be coming his way.
Ka-ching.
Or a box of Quackers.
Moore at half back. Pops it up over the top nicely. And so Bayswater, they'll just look to sort themselves out here. They'll go backwards again. Moore has it at half back. Little handball to O'Reilly.
Well, they're mucking around
and they're mucking around here, and Lilydale are good on their pressure, so they'd want to watch it. And McInerney of the Scott variety kicks straight into the man on the mark. Wilson, what can he do? Gets around the man in McInerney and has nailed a goal.
Well, it serves himself right there, Bayswater. They just took it too easy and thought, this was going to happen.
So Lachlan Wilson has kicked Lilydale's second goal in a row. And they bring the margin back once again to 29 points. 8-8-56 Bayswater. Lilydale 3-9-27. Understatement to say it was a much needed goal, but there could be something yet, another chapter to play out in this game, Brash.
Yeah, Wills, and I think Paul McCormick will be absolutely filthy on that play, because that was lackadaisical. That was actually treating a side beaten with contempt. You don't do that.
I'm focusing on the positive, because that was one of the goals of the season there by Wilson, a spoil and a fantastic goal. Here's a go for them. Healy goes back towards Burnston on the right boot. They might be able to square this one up. The kick goes to the top of the goal square, running after it. Holds off the ground. That's 2 in a minute. Well, the spark is back alive for the Lilydale Football Club. 17 and a half minutes gone in this third term. 8-8-56 Bayswater. And it's only 23 points the margin. I might have gone the early crow. 4-9-33 Lilydale.
No, that's all right, BWS. You're entitled to go for that, because they weren't playing well enough at that particular stage.
Lucas Hulls, what a great goal that was. They need to just keep getting the ball out of the middle. Momentum is a very important thing, and Lilydale have it at the moment.
So back in the middle, Falcons with 3 in a row. Can they make it 4? Mitchener once again been so dominant in the ruck today. Galvin scoops on the footy, quick handball over the top to Van Ruin, gives the don't argue, then slams it on the boot. Up towards the wing, no one able to take it. Searle in the foot race now with Healy. Healy wins out though, gets a quick handball up and they look to go inside forward 50 again. Lilydale up towards the direction of Baldwin, who takes the mark.
All of a sudden there's a little spring in the step here for Lilydale.
So it looks like he might fancy himself. He's looks like he's going back to take the kick.
Well, he is the elder statesman at 25 years of age, Daniel Baldwin.
So Daniel Baldwin comes in, kicks him right on the arc. He's put it across the face, up to the top of the square. Searle just spilt the mark, then takes down O'Donoghue in the tackle. And that's going nowhere. Umpire calls for it. 19 minutes gone. Bayswater are 8.8.56. Lilydale 4.9.33.
Tim Fitzsimons very quickly around the grounds.
Yeah, Blackburn starting to run away with it now with a 20-point lead over Oval, 61-41.
Klaas Henry from the stoppage. Got boot to ball, but it went through for a behind. Great stuff around the grounds, Tim. 56 plays 34. It's a 22-point margin. Kick comes back into play. Lilydale still alive. Here's Wilson. Going for the check side. Wilson, no! Another behind. They are peppering. Absolutely.
Is this their moment? This is Lilydale's moment.
Let's cross down boundary side to Gav Casey. What's it like down there at ground level, Gav?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Wilson smother. It was the first bit of noise. The car horns were beeping, the noise, and now the anticipation for moments is, yeah, can actually hear the Lilydale supporters. They're getting noisy now.
So in the back pocket, and Hawes got it. Kicks down the wing to a contest, and nobody going up for the footy in the end. Miller just belting it to advantage, but taken there nicely by Hulse, who kicked that last goal. And now trying to spin his way out of trouble, McGilvray Smith to camera. Goes down the line, down the wing, looking for O'Reilly, who scoops it up, gathers nicely, kicks it inside forward 50. Nobody home though for the Waters. How will this one bounce? Bounces kindly there for Sciortino and looks to hit up Healy in the back pocket. And Searle's been put down. Umpire called play on though. Up towards half back now. Klepp, little handball over the top to Klaas Henry. What can he do now? Just kicking it over the top and chopped off again by Schroeder.
Oh, that's a big turnover.
And just when they've got the momentum, Lilydale.
They had the spare player then as well. It was almost a 3-on-1 and he spotted up the one.
So Schroeder goes short and finds Pritchard right in front of the interchange gates here.
Such is the pressure of Lilydale. They've put Bayswater into defence mode here.
So Pritchard up towards half forward. Searle, great mark in the front position. What a tremendous game he's had so far. So we look to slow things down here, Searle. Oh, just a miss kick there. Was looking for more in the end, made him really work for it. Klaas Henry came diving in and Galvin wrapped him up in the tackle. And the umpire calls for the ball and we'll have a ball up. 21 and a half minutes gone. Third term, it's 19 points the margin in favour of Bayswater.
Oh, Bryce Galvin nearly squashed young Klaas Henry there.
Mitchener goes up unopposed there that time, got it down. Horsley seen over the boundary line and out. Boundary throw in, 22 minutes gone around the grounds. Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, another couple of goals to Blackburn. They're starting to run away with it now. 5 goals to none in this term. 11-7-73 to 6-5-41.
I think we might call that one over.
Well, it's getting towards that stage. Ball comes in. Searle hits the deck, trapped the football, got the handball away. Galvin couldn't quite trap it, got a little toe poke on it. His brother there when Bryce was also over the top of it. Horsley as well. It's desperation stakes here. Third term, free kick going the way of Lilydale. Bryce Batty across the half back line, wasting no time. Spears the pass towards O'Donoghue. The big man comes out and takes a strong mark. Will wind around now on the right boot. Try and hit up a target. It was a good kick too, up towards the half-forward line. This is better play. Morrison on the right boot, inside forward 50. That's the kick you wanted. You just needed to hit the targets McNay presented all afternoon. We kicked one down this end in the first term. He can wind up now. He can set up for goal. That is good. Barrel straight, Lilydale. They are back and well and truly in this game now. 23 minutes tick over on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We are back to a 15-point margin, gentlemen.
All of a sudden, Lilydale had just found some run in the legs, and they're starting to run on top of the ground. Bayswater, as I said a few seconds ago, Ray, they've gone into defensive mode. They've stopped attacking, and they're paying the penalty for it.
And we go back to that stupid defensive play where they chipped it around and chipped it, and Lilydale got a sniff, and you don't give them a sniff.
16 scoring shots apiece, a 15-point lead to Bayswater.
So interesting, a couple of minutes coming up to close out this third term. Cotty charges in, wrapped up in the tackle straight away. Umpire calls for the ball. Rucks go at it again. Mitchener winning the tap. McGilvray Smith going nowhere.
And traditionally, the Baronia Road end is the scoring end of the ground. The Tormore Road end, Lilydale have in the last quarter.
So a good punch there by Mitchener. McNay, who kicked that last goal, gets it to Baker, who pops it inside forward 50, looking for a target. Wilson at the fall of the ball once again, snaps around the body, it's home! And the Falcons are back in town. He's got two. And Lilydale go to 6-11-47. Bayswater 8-8-56. It's a 9-point ball game here at Tormore Reserve.
How come it's taken them 2.5 quarters to play this sort of football? If they'd have come out from the very start with this, playing this type of football, they would be in front.
I think also what happens is, Ray, sometimes the opposition doesn't allow you to play the game on your terms. Bayswater have taken their foot mentally off the pedal here, and Lilydale were going to have another crack at them. We knew they were going to do it. It was just a matter of when.
You're living in the past, Ray. It's all about Lilydale at the moment. Let's be happy for what they've been able to put out on the park in this last 10 minutes. They're well and truly back in the game. McNay goes after it. Galvin hit the deck there. In fact, it might have been Jess Moore comes out on the left boot. They go forward again. Lilydale. Wilson was out muscle that time. Eddie over the back. He got a timely fist on that one. Happy to concede at the behind, and through it goes. Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we tick over 25 minutes. It is 8 points the margin, 56-48. Rain is coming back out here at Bayswater. At Baronia, I should say, as the kick comes into play. Aaron Hoare takes the mark. On the left boot now, drives it out towards the wing position. Ball holding up in a breeze there. It's almost like it's favouring the Bendigo Bank scoreboard end. It's gone out of bounds on the full. Lilydale, they are full of run at the moment. There's no doubt about that. Can they get themselves back within a kick? If they do, they're almost going to this final term as favourites. A kick goes forward. Big fly over the back there by Schroeder, but a free kick will be paid to Bryce Galvin, who was the biggest man in the contest and copped one in the back. A chance for Bayswater to stop prop and just weigh up their options.
So O'Reilly, true fullback position in front of Baker. They're on the back foot here, the Waters. The last thing they want to do is make an error inside 50. Great mark taken there by Bernstein. Great intercept, and he might go back and look to kick his first goal for the afternoon. Wouldn't this one bring the house down and would get the Bayswater faithful very nervous in the shadows of three-quarter time.
What a turnaround.
Yeah. So Bernstein goes the check side kick. It's home. And Lilydale draw within 2 points here at Tormore Reserve. They go to 7-12-54. Bayswater 8-8-56. They trailed by as much as 35 points at one stage, Lilydale, but they are back in town.
Yeah, a really good comeback here by Lilydale. All of a sudden they've got the run in their legs and a bit of self-belief, and that's amazing. What that can do for you.
Let's cross down to Gav Casey.
Did someone say it was over a bit earlier?
I certainly did. The early crow went.
Yeah. But it's been the smalls, the Bernsteins, the Wilsons, who have really got them back into this contest.
Ball hits the deck. Sam Horsley will pick himself up. Nice comment by Gav Casey there. I hope it hails in the next 5 minutes as it comes out now. Baker took it from the stoppage, got quickly wrapped up. We'll have another ball up. They could go in at three-quarter time in front. Who would have absolutely read about it? I'm happy if I called it over and I sparked them into life somehow as it came out the back. Harvey Matt Fody is getting very excited up in Queensland at the moment, sending text through as Mitchener drives the ball forward. Inside ball 50 goes at the back. Nicely done there by Jess Moore to mop up on the right boot. Clears it out now as the siren sounds as Kurt Lopo was racing away with it. What a fantastic term. An entertaining quarter after a pretty dullish type first half where Bayswater dominated. Lilydale sparked this game back into life, and at three-quarter time in the Division 2 elimination final, it's Bayswater still holding sway, 8-8-56, leading Lilydale 7-12-54. Jack Callanan has 4 majors for Bayswater and 2 to Matty Camera, while for Lilydale it's 2 goals to McNay and Lachlan Wilson. Only 30 minutes to go for one of these sides. Who's going to take home the points? We can't wait for it. Tim Fitzsimons will keep us up to date around the grounds on the Score Centre right after this on EFL Game Day.
I'd love to make more time for my loved ones because they really deserve as much help as I can give them.
Because they mean the world to me.
Because eventually they won't be around anymore.
Because I don't want to miss out on watching my brothers grow.
To show them that I value them.
I don't want to regret later on just being too busy.
Apparently a very common regret is that people feel like they didn't make enough time for loved ones.
Tell those you love what they mean to you. Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
EFL.org.au is the place to be online for all the latest on the Eastern Football League. Keep up to date by checking out the latest news and feature articles. Have your say in the EFL poll. Check out all the latest EFL videos, and best of all, you can listen back to any EFL radio program at any time. Head to EFL.org.au. The Eastern Football League. Local footy at its best.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
Program sponsor.
Nothing better than a companion to keep you up to date with all the latest when you're at the footy. Better still, one that fits in your back pocket. The Eastern Footballer is a must-read. All the latest information, team lists, feature articles and much, much more. Pick up your copy this weekend as you love it local across the Eastern Football League.
Kids eat free Mondays and Tuesdays for a limited time at Hog's Breath Cafe. Get out! When an adult dines at Hog's Breath Cafe, you also get a kids meal free. Select from any one of our special kids meal combos with a soft drink and ice cream. That's hospitality. Mondays and Tuesdays for a limited time. So get in for our great kids meal deal. Kids eat free at Hog's Breath Cafe. Love you to join us. Call 1-800-HOGSTAR.
Chadston, Dandenong, Coringal, Knox Ozone, Water Gardens and Geelong. Come in and experience some hospitality.
Program sponsor.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. An inspired 15 minutes of football by the Lilydale Football Club. They're 2 points behind at three-quarter time after trailing by 42 points 15 minutes into the third quarter. It's Bayswater hanging on at the moment, 8-8-56 leading Lilydale 7-12-54. Goal kickers for Bayswater, 4 to Callanan, 2 to Camera and singles to Cott and Vanderlek. Whilst for Lilydale, 2 each to McMay and Lockie Wilson sparked them in that 15 minutes. He kicked a couple and singles to Burnson, Morrison and Hulse and Ray Baird. A real change has taken over this game, and the last 15 minutes it all belonged to Lilydale. They've got the run and momentum. Can they continue it?
Well, Brash, they've got it in front of them. Look, nobody saw this coming. As you said, 15 minutes into the quarter, Bayswater were 8 goals 8 to Lilydale 1 goal 7. In that 15 minutes, Lilydale's managed to kick 6 goals 5, and Bayswater they haven't scored. But look, they got the momentum going with them. It's just whether or not Paul McCormick can, get through to his troops that, this game's on the line now. But it all eventuated with a series of play that Bayswater had on the half-back line there. And, it certainly put Lilydale back into the game. We go down to Gavin Casey there.
Yeah, with the coach of Lilydale, Ben, who's looking a lot more happier than he was half an hour ago. But how about that spark when you put the pressure on and Wilson got the turnover? That was like a fire starter.
Yeah, it's just about us getting our hands on the football and working really hard away from the contest.
And it's do or die now, so what are you thinking about the next 30 minutes?
Oh, the boys, it's up to them really. I mean, we're just going to continue to try and run and put as much pressure on as possible, try and use the ball going into a slight breeze, so we've got to use the ball smart. Hopefully we can hit a few targets going forward.
Yeah, it looked unlikely, but now you're a hope.
Yeah, exactly right. It gives us a chance, so yeah.
Well done, mate.
Thanks, Gav Casey on the boundary line. Tim, up-to-date scores at the other games this afternoon. What have we got?
Better turn my mic on first. In Division 1, it looks like Blackburn are starting to run away with it. They lead 12-11, 83 to 7-5, 47. So looks like they're going to be taking on Doncaster if things keep going the way they are. But as we've seen here today, we don't want to call anything too early. And in Division 3, it's start of the third term. It is Ringwood leading 7-7, 49 to Scoresby 4-5, 29. So a 20-point lead there to Ringwood.
There you have it at the moment. Both Ringwood and Blackburn hold sway. It's three-quarter time here, and Paul McCormick had his troops in the huddle at three-quarter time, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was a few choice words there being given to his troops, because really they had control of the contest there, and they just dropped the ball mentally, Dan Sensic, and when you do that and you give the opposition a little bit of a sniff, it'll come back to bite you.
Yeah, that last 10 or so minutes of the quarter, we've just seen trademark Lilydale football, haven't we? Their run and gun style of play, the type of play that really punishes sides for making errors, like we saw with Lockie Wilson's first goal there, which turned the momentum. Bayswater haven't had the game on their terms for a good 10 to 15 minutes. The opening 5 minutes of this last term is going to be all crucial. They really need to get the game back on their terms, Bayswater, if there are any chance of winning this, because Lilydale are coming home with a wet side.
Brash, you and I pre-game picked Bayswater. I'm sticking with Bayswater. I think they can do enough to stem the flow and kick a winning score.
But at least now we've got a really exciting last quarter that could go down either way.
It was a really intense huddle out there for Bayswater. They're still backing themselves in. There is a breeze going down towards the scoreboard end, which Bayswater kick with it. Paul McCormick, he doesn't want them to bomb away. Lower your eyes, hit your targets, work the ball forward. That's the message. They're still confident, Bayswater.
Yeah. Well, either way, we're in for a ripper last quarter.
Can't wait for it. Division 2 elimination final.
Maybe we've
2-point ball game.
Well, we've pulled the right horse this weekend with 2 close games, haven't we?
Here's Dan Sensic to take us underway for the final term.
Big 30 minutes coming here at Tormore Reserve. Rucks go at it. Smith wins the tap down on hands and knees. Mitchener out to Batty. Just fed the handball out there. Klepp looking for meterage now as Bayswater look to go forward through McLeod. Trickling ball up towards half forward. Gathered there nicely by Miller. Just flicked towards the front there. Callan, and can he gather? Diving on the footy. And Klepp just finds himself at the bottom there, just wrapping up his Bayswater opponent, the tackle, and we'll see a ball up at half forward for Bayswater. Crucial first 5 minutes coming up as Mitchener wins the tap down. Lopo kick around the corner, looking for Callanan, and it bounces out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. Is the umpire picked out a free kick here?
Out on the full.
Out of bounds on the full, so...
And they're saying over there, how could you pick it from that far?
I could see the boundary umpire, mate.
Well, yeah, I know.
So Del Biondo just looks for ground here, up towards half back. Nearly fell into the arms of Batty, couldn't take the mark in the end. Lopo just wrestling at ground level and unable to get it out. We'll see a ball up at half forward. Bayswater 8-8-56, Lilydale 7-12-54. 2 points the margin on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we restart play here. Waters with the tap as it's worked towards the boundary line. Lopo again at the bottom of the pack with Kennedy. And let's go to Tim Fitzsimons with some scores.
Yeah, Ringwood with another couple of goals to extend their lead past 5 goals there. 9-8-62, leading Scoresby 4-5-29.
Never calling a game over again.
I don't feel all that bad about it, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
I've done it before.
So Rucks go at it. Galvin just bursting his way through there, wrapped up by the smallest man on the ground though, in Baker. Let's cross boundary side to Gav Casey.
Ben, you might have gone to Bayswater's huddle, but Lilydale, the smiles on the faces, the players, they actually looked excited. So I wouldn't be surprised if they keep the momentum up. They seem like they're pretty happy with what just happened in 10 minutes of footy.
And we've got a blood rule here, so a player coming off.
Did you get excited too,
Anthony
Gav?
Van Roon?
I did actually. When I was speaking to Ben, I had a big smile on my face and said, geez, it's a bit different to what it was only 10 minutes ago.
You would have been very happy about yesterday too, wouldn't you?
What was that?
Your team into a second semi.
Gav's got to look through his list of his teams to see which one it was.
So play restarts now. Low, going nowhere. Umpire calls for the ball again.
Yeah, something like that.
So Paddy works it up towards the half-back line as Lilydale look to go forward, looking for Bernstein, unable to scoop it up cleanly. At half-forward now, Class Henry just battles with Hoare there. Great tackle there by Class Henry. And the pressure of Lilydale has just been superb in this last 20 minutes of footy.
Yeah, those small forwards for Lilydale have really upped the ante and put a lot of pressure on the back six of Bayswater.
Rucks go at it. O'Donoghue got the knockdown straight into the arms there of Healy, up towards the half-forward line. Bouncing football. It's deep in the forward line for Lilydale. Scooping across the back there. Scott McInerney got it away to Wayne, his brother, up towards the half-back line. Lopo did well for the spoil. Ball trickles out towards the boundary line. Kept brilliantly alive by Healy. Handball over the top. They're still alive here, the Falcons. Nicely done, and eventually a little trickle over the boundary line by Hayden Schroeder. They're happy with that stoppage. Bayswater scores still coming in from around the grounds, Tim.
Yeah, Division 1, three-quarter time. Not good news for you, Ray. It's Blackburn 13-13, 91 leading at Rowville 7-5, 47.
Comes out now from the stoppage. Lopo, handball to Galvin. Joel Variety on the right boot. Copped one after he kicked it. It's a downfield free kick.
Now is not the time to be starting to give away silly free kicks. It goes for both sides because any slight edge could be the difference between winning and losing.
And Bayswater with the chance to go forward now. The kick was a shocker. And Mitchener, who's had a fantastic game, a four-quarter performer.
And he's done well.
On the right boot. Sends it back to once it came. Galvin got a timely double fister on it over the top, linking up there, trying to hit a target here in Miller. On the left boot, goes forward towards the top of the goal square, looking for Cunningham. He had two players to beat. Going after it, there was Baker. He got wrapped up in a tackle and he's thrown it away. He's thrown it away. You can hear the Basie faithful wrapped about that one. Matty Cunningham will be the recipient of the free kick. The ball trying to get the advantage paid situation, but the umpire had already called it back, which was close enough to advantage as you could get, but nonetheless it will come back. Matty Cunningham to have a shot on goal.
I was very impressed with the ground that Cunningham made up on Baker because, you know, he's a little man that's super quick, but Cunningham pinned him.
Finally, the ball comes back into his arms. Matty Cunningham, 24 goals for the season, yet to hit the scoreboard today, but this would be a timely one. He's usually a great kick of the football, and he has pushed it to the left-hand side. Take over at any time, Brash. Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 6 minutes into the final term, 8-9-57 to 7-12-54.
So Klepp to bring it back in for Lilydale. High pressure game, just guarding space at the moment. Bayswater at the moment too, but great hit up there. Del Biondo at half back, marks in front of camera, then puts it on the boot long down the wing. They've got the numbers here. Lilydale, great mark taken. Yeah, and I think it might even be 50, Brad Lowe, or 25 rather. He was taken high around the neck after he took the mark.
Blokes like Lowe and
so Lowe inside forward, 50, great kick, hits Wilson on the chest. And what will he do now? I don't think he'll have the journey. He'll just pop it up to the top of the square. Great mark. And great hit up there. And Lilydale can hit the front believe it or not, at the 6.5-minute mark of the final term. Transitional play, absolutely sensational. And this is Lucas Hulls to line up for his second goal of the afternoon. Potentially put Lilydale in front. Who would have thought that an hour ago?
It was 8-1 halfway through the third. It's been a monumentous comeback here from Lilydale.
So Lucas Hulls comes in directly in front. Kick off the boots, a shank, and it stays left. Lucky to get a point in the end, I think. And he's drawn Lilydale 3 points closer. 7-13-55. Bayswater 8-9-57 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I think Matty Cunningham will be breathing a sigh of relief too.
That's right.
It was a quick transition. Lockie Wilson, such an X-factor player, been pivotal in getting his side back into the contest as the kick goes out towards the half-back line. O'Donoghue was in the front spot. Over the back there was O'Reilly for Bayswater. Hits the deck, wrapped up by Class Henry. Let's have a bounce.
Does Paul McCormick try just something a little different? Maybe put Wayne McInerney in the forward line?
It's an option.
Galvin over the back, knocked it to ground level. Class Henry was in there. Nice handball, McGilvray-Smith. Kick it up and under, kick up towards the wing position, knocked over the boundary line and out of bounds. 2 points is the margin, 57-55. EFL Game Day Division 2 Elimination Final. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. EFL.org.au right around the globe. Finals happening in Division 3 and 1 also today as the ball comes back into play. Here's Lowe. He did well, sold a little bit of candy on the right boot, drives it forward. What a strong mark. That's been taken out there by the player in Callum Morrison, who's already kicked one this afternoon and will go back. He's only 35 metres out and he's directly in front. I'm backing him in here for Lilydale to hit the front.
Gee, that was a good mark because he was out of position for most of that way the ball that came in. He's really worked well. He's given it off.
He's given it off now. Here's Koga. That was not the right option. The ball holds up. O'Donoghue used his body well, worked himself to the front, and they will take it. There's no doubt about that. It's luck's of fortune really for them, but he's going to have a shot from 20 metres out directly in front. Adam O'Donoghue will come in. He's taking his time, the big man, sucking in a few big ones. Leans over it. Drop punt, go for a goal. Lilydale have hit the front. Listen to the Falcon fans get around there, boys. 10 minutes into the final term, and they lead by 4 points out here at Tormore Reserve.
This is Bayswater's season, right on the line here, Brash. You know, can they come back again?
Yep.
They're really being tested by Lilydale, and Lilydale, good luck to them. They've hit the front now, but Bayswater, this is where you've got to stand up.
Yep.
Everything you've done so far means nothing.
Yeah, this is where all the experience, this Bayswater have got all the experience on their side in finals. This is where they need to bring it.
So game on the Falcons' terms at the moment. They lead by 4 points. Back in the ruck, Mitchener wins the tap and high contact. It's a Bayswater free kick. Cam McLeod to take it. Pops it on the boot up towards centre half forward, looking for Cunningham. Strong mark.
Kick it to the goal square
Back
at least.
yourself in.
Well, he's got to. Well, he hands it off to Camera, who from outside the arc pops it on the boot. How will this one go? All the way to the square, belted through by Klepp. Sensational defensive work. And Bayswater 8-10-58. Lilydale 8-13-61. Let's go down to Gav Casey.
Has definitely sprung up. It's going to Bayswater's end, so that's why kicking into it's not easy.
So Klepp, it's been solid down back today for the Falcons. Brings it back in. Wooten at half back.
That's the second time he's kicked out to there. Bayswater's got to be awake to that.
So Wooten just pops it long down the wing to a pack of players. Spilt the mark and it trickles over the boundary line and out of bounds for a throw in. 3 points the difference here. 61 plays 58. 11 minutes gone. Final term.
Yeah, Mitchener has done a magnificent job for Lilydale. He's single-handedly got him back into the contest with his ruck work.
3 points is the margin. Who wants it more? Yells Bruce Press. Watching at home, our mate. On the right boot, Lilydale kick was smothered up towards the half-forward line on hands and knees. O'Reilly trying to bustle through and he can't. We'll have a ball up, half-forward line for Bayswater. Boundary riders need to ask to cross down before we can turn their mics on as the kick goes in towards the middle of the ground. Amateur mistake as it comes out. Jess Moore in the middle of the ground got chopped off. Here's a go. Nicely done there by Harvey. In the middle, got it away on the left boot. Batty goes inside forward. 50. The kick was there. It was a one-on-one situation. Wilson had the front spot. He got out-muscled in it. They'll take that. The Bayswater faithful, the Lilydale faithful. Everyone's clapping for everything. It's high, intense football. There's no doubt about that. I had to bounce this one up. It's only 45 metres out from the Lilydale goal line. Galvin comes over the back. O'Donoghue wrapped him up quickly. Two big men hit the deck, and let's do it all again.
Come on, Joel. Get up, mate.
Might have been winded there.
His head, I think, hit the ground.
Oh, yeah.
So he picks himself up. Rucks go at it. Moore at the fall. Got the handball away. That was good play. Bouncing football out towards McLeod. Scooped to con by Baco's kick was smothered. They've still got the numbers here. Lowe almost was able to run onto that. But Bayswater through McLeod. He's trying to get rid of it. He's gone. He's gone. He just couldn't release the handball there. And it almost could have been a 25-metre penalty. The umpire said it was okay. Free kick going to Ryan Harvey of Lilydale.
That was a really good tackle there by Harvey, BWS. Actually put the bear hug on him.
And I tell you what, he's well within range here. He's going to kick from about 40, a very slight angle. They lead by 3 points.
Could be 9. Just could be 9.
Could be 4 also as he comes in. Or it could stay at 3. Let's see what Harvey can do. Deliberate approach, kick strong at it and kick straight as well. Lilydale lead by 9 points, 13 and a half minutes into the final term out here in the Division 2 elimination final. Who would have thought this only 25 minutes ago?
And haven't the Lilydale faithful come alive in the crowd here? You know, we didn't hear a beep out of them in the first half of the game, but you know, good luck to them. Their side's back in front, and as we said before, Bayswater, they've certainly got the job in front of them now.
Well, have they got any juice left, Bayswater? They need to dig deep at this stage of the game. They led by 42 points earlier on. As we're back in the middle. No ruck able to get the clean tap out. Lopo is wrapping his opponent up in the tackle there. We'll have another bounce in the middle of Tormore Reserve. So Mitchener again. Slammed on the boot, though, by the Waters as they look to go forward. Inside forward, 50, taken there by Sciartino, though. Lost it, though. Cunningham at the bottom of the pack. Diving through there was Miller. Off through Lopo. How will this one go? It's away to the left. And Lopo, an opportunity missed there just to swing the momentum back Bayswater's way. They go to 8:11.59. Lilydale 9:13.67. 8 points the difference as we cross the halfway mark of this final term. Klepp once again to bring it back in. Goes out towards the left half-back flank. Mitch in a strong mark in front of McInerney. And chips it over the top. Batty goes wide to the wing. Great tackle there by Vanderlack. Dispossessed Harvey, the goal kicker, just a few moments ago, and that ball's going nowhere. Sam Baker hands it to the umpire. We'll have another bounce. So Rucks go at it again. Mitchener wins it to Batty. Baker wheels around the body, then pops it up high to half forward. No one able to take the mark. Moore just releases the handball quickly. McLeod. Moore once again. Batty with the don't argue on Lopo there. Great stuff. Mitchener's kick was smothered, then belted it right down the throat of Galvin. Inside forward 50, the Waters go. Bouncing ball. Was he held, Callanan? Yes, he was. And they play on Bayswater. Inside forward 50, top of the square. Here's Cunningham. Strong mark. Strolls into an open goal. Waters still alive. 9:11.65 Bayswater. They draw within 2 points of Lilydale. 9:13.67. 16 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Just the replay that Bayswater needed. They had to get a goal. A big advantage of the advantage rule at some situations. It was good luck, you know, they took advantage of it, but gee, sometimes the advantage one side gets, you know, is huge, and that was a huge one.
I think the free kick was there and the
was there, I'm
advantage
just
was
saying,
warranted.
yeah.
No, I'm not saying you weren't. 2 points is the margin, 67 to 65. Lilydale hold the lead. 16 and a half minutes gone. What a season it's been on AFL Game Day. We're getting crackers every single game we call. Ball in the middle, it goes to no side's advantage, and we'll have a ball up. It's going to be hard, tough football for the next 10 minutes to see who will go through next week and take on Upper Ferntree Gully in the preliminary final, to see who'll take on Doncaster East. It comes out now. Kennedy for Lilydale on the right boot, kicks it out wide. Oh, Ben Searle out of nowhere. He thumped the ball 50 metres on his left inside forward 50, looking for Cunningham. Palmed it to himself. Almost might have been held without the football. Callanan snapped around the body. It might have been advantage. The umpire this time says, no, you can come back and have a shot on goal. Matthew Cunningham will have a shot from 25 metres out, slight angle. Oh my God.
What is going through his mind after the last one he missed? You know, the pressure's on Cunningham here, although he's a lot closer this time.
Well, he shouldn't miss it. He's an experienced footballer.
He shouldn't have missed the last one either, Brash.
I know, but he shouldn't miss this one.
Still waiting for the ball to come back. Eventually it does. Matthew Cunningham to regain the lead for Bayswater. Comes in now, and he makes no mistake, and a bit of a celebration to boot as well. Look at the boys get around him. Excitement levels at a maximum out here at Tormore Reserve for the Division 2 elimination final. Bayswater have got themselves back in front, 10-11, 71 to 9, 13 67. Holy dooly.
Yeah, and the pressure is no doubt back on Lilydale now. Have they spent all their petrol tickets, you know, getting to the lead, and now they've relinquished the lead back to Bayswater? Gee, this game's a fantastic final.
Well, when we saw the Falcons a fortnight ago, they fought it right out till the death, expecting the same today. Back in the middle, Mitchener down to Batty, driven into the turf there by Lopo. Great tackle. Umpire will ball it up.
Gee, I really like the play of young Loco. You know, there's not much of him, but gee, when he tackles, they go to the ground.
So Mitchener again. Tap was to no real advantage. Cotty brought down in the tackle. And McNay really making that tackle hurt, as he's a bit ginger at the moment. Cotty just taking a while to get up.
Well, if he's a bit sore...
I think he's been winded.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let him get up of his own accord. Don't drag him up.
Definitely winded. A perfect time to go around the grounds on the score centre with Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, 2 games look to be over at the moment. 3/4 time in Division 3. Ringwood leading by 48 points. A dominant third term there from the Redbacks. And in Division 1, Blackburn now leading by 51 points. 6 played in the final quarter.
Yeah, well, looks like it's all over for Oval, Ray.
Oh, yeah, not surprised.
Aaron Cotty picking himself up. Will need a hand off the ground here, so...
I think he's hurt himself.
Ankle.
He's ginger on an ankle as well.
Yep.
So, of course, Gav Casey is in position A. Let's cross down boundary side now to Gavin.
He came in with a crook ankle, so that's just exacerbated at that time.
Well, they're a player down because he's still making his way off. He probably should have just asked for the stretcher in the end, because that's a disadvantage now to Bayswater. Chance now for Lilydale. That kick goes up towards the half-forward line. It sits up in the wind, and maybe a little bit of holding against Burnston that time to Wayne McInerney, who's going to bring the ball out of defence for Baysy.
Well, the last thing they want to do, Bayswater, is just chip it around like they've done it previously, and Lilydale has made them pay. Kick goes down the wing, off hand. Schroeder just handballed it out of bounds. He was looking for Van Ruin.
If you go, Gav.
I think the Bayswater should have called for the stretcher. The play just finished up with Cotty just crossing the line and nearly got shirt fronted by his teammate with the ball.
So boundary throw in smack bang on the wing here at Tormore Reserve as we've ticked into time on final term. Mitchener wins the tap. Hoare wrapped up in the tackle there, and that's going nowhere. Ball up.
Brash, you made a comment earlier. Does Paul McCormick throw Wayne McInerney forward? And I said wait and see. Now is the time I would. They've got to win this game. They can't save it. So you put your best goal kicker down there.
O'Reilly hands it off to Lopo, who checks sides it inside forward 50 in the Cunningham direction. What can he do here? He's brought to ground. What will the umpire do? Umpire calls holding the ball. He's gone. Wooten to take the free kick. Hands it off quickly to Klepp, who clears the defensive 50 out towards half-back. Great mark taken by Klaas Henry in front of Vanderlack. And Klaas Henry just chips it over the top. and finds his captain in Lowe.
It's done well since half-time, Lowe.
So Brad Lowe finds McNay. What can he do? Needs to get it off quickly. He's gone. Great tackle by Van der Lack.
Gee, that could be a goal-saving tackle there by Van der Lack because McNay can roost the ball 50, 60 metres.
So Van der Lack wastes no time, moves it on quickly, down the line, looking for Callanan. What a game he's played. 4 goals to his name. And we'll just look to milk up the seconds here as he moves it on now. Inside 50. Kick went very close to the line, trickling over for a throw-in. Inside 50 for the Waters. 22 minutes gone. Bayswater 71, Lilydale 67.
Someone's had some fat fingers in the scoreboard because the score keeps changing at the moment, and there's a few people having conniptions outside. But it is 4-point the margin. It's the way of Bayswater. Ball goes forward. Here's a go. Lopo just fell down at the crucial stage. Might have been pinged. Miller came in over the top. He hit the deck also. We're going to have a bounce. It's only 30 metres out from the Bayswater goal line. 23.5 minutes tick by. 71 to 67. Bayswater have the lead.
Gee, did Bayswater get this next goal? It could be just hard for Lilydale then.
Same message to both sides. Attack, attack, attack.
Yep.
High throws it up. Michener got the knockdown. Comes out. There's a lot of players around it. Miller was in there. So too was Galvin. Somehow just got himself out. Lopo. Snap around the body by Lopo. Just couldn't get enough curl on that. He was under pressure. Margin is 5 points. 72 to 67. Bayswater have the lead.
The ball's taken a bit of time to come back. Bayswater have to match up.
Oh, sounded like you were about to take off with it there, Ray. Sounded good.
I would never do that to you, Ben.
So Klepp, short chip kick to Sciortino. Plays on straight away. Up towards the wing. Looking for Koga. Was outstretched in that situation. The Mortars have got the numbers here. Little handball over the top was good. Found Pritchard, who went backwards. Class Henry in the area. Pritchard again wrapped up in the tackle. Needs to get rid of it. Lilydale now with the footy. Class Henry trying to work his way out of trouble. Just slams it on the boot. Cunningham's in the area. And Van der Lack off to Moore. Great tackle there by Wiles. And very lucky to get away with that one. And the ball goes over the line and out of bounds. 24 minutes have ticked over. It's Bayswater by 4 points.
He disguised that well, Moore. He got away with it.
Waters by 5 points here at Tormore Reserve. 24 gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
They haven't been long quarters all day either.
No.
Class Henry once again. Bernstein rather, taken over the boundary line by O'Reilly.
You're almost sorry now to see a loser, aren't you?
Well, both sides have cracked in so well in this second half. It's one side won't be playing footy next week, and it's a real shame because it's 2 quality sides out there at the moment. Ball toss back into play. Bayswater win the tap. Klepp just slams it on the boot. Only as far though as O'Reilly.
Oh, they'll try and suck up a bit of the clock here.
He's stood tall today, O'Reilly, hasn't he? He's had some game. As he pops it on the boot, long down the wing, up towards half forward. Was there a push out there? Umpire said no.
Yeah, free kick.
Oh, free kick coming back. So, free kick going the way of Del Biondo. At half back. Sends it straight back down the wing to a pack of players. Nobody able to take the mark. O'Donoghue. Koga shoveled it out looking for Bernstein. Galvin, the captain, showing leadership, just smashing through there. And we'll see a ball up.
What about that desperation by Joel Galvin then?
Yeah.
That's a captain's effort.
There can't be too much longer to go in this game. It's a 5-point margin. Umpire throws it up. True centre wing position. Came out. Michener got it down. The kick was smothered from the stoppage. Charging his way through. Getting a handball out towards the direction there of O'Reilly, who's happy to see it over the boundary line and out of bounds. Gavin Casey, he's right in and amongst it at the moment. What's it like down there at ground level, Gav?
A lot of nervous energy. I think the siren's only a couple of minutes away. People don't know when it's going to go. One more score could win it either way.
Yep.
High brings the ball back into play. It was a shallow one, so it's anyone's ball. Another stoppage is going to happen here. High comes in. Expect a quick restart.
Actually, I think the umpiring's been really good. They've let it go this afternoon, and it's been good for the game.
Smith versus Mitchener. Mitchener got the knockdown, came down, a little snap around the body there by Eddie, up towards the half-forward line. Underneath it, though, Lilydale had the numbers, and they've got to take off. They've got to take some risks. The kick goes up towards the Harvey direction. He takes the mark and takes off. The umpire said, no, he didn't take off.
No, he didn't.
Well, listen to the brethren of Bayswater get around that one. They are filthy about it. He's got to not waste any time, Ryan Harvey. Weighs up his options. He's got to kick it to the hot spot. He's got to go towards the corner direction. Unbelievable stuff. The mark has been taken there by Morrison. I thought it was Koga. Apologies. He kicks the ball inside forward 50. They've got to hit the targets, and they do. And a mark has been taken by Paddy Cleft. He might just still be too far out from goal. He'll kick from just outside 50. It's a 5-point margin out here. 27 minutes are ticked on. He wants to go for the short option. He's coughed it up.
Oh, no.
He has coughed it up. You wouldn't believe it, inside the defensive arc. Bayswater are just going to...
Well, we don't know.
Unbelievable, unbelievable stuff. They've got the ball, Basie, in the back pocket, driving the ball out towards the wing position. Callanan over the back. He wanted the spoil. Lilydale did have the numbers. Handball over the top. Here's another go for them, charging through. Bryce Batty on the left boot. This might be their last chance at it. Lilydale and the forward ball. Wilson, it almost looked like he could have got boot to ball. It scoots out. They're still charging forward. Umpire says play on. Joel Galvin comes in. He dropped the football. That's holding the ball. It is. It's a free kick to Lilydale. 35 metres out, directly in front. As the siren sounds.
Oh, no.
The siren has sound. Brad Lowe has the ball. He'll kick from 35 metres out, directly in front. You would not read about this type of finish. Division 2 elimination final. It's a 5-point ball game. Lilydale can steal it on the siren.
I reckon he's going to do it.
Brad Lowe. The crowd will tell the story either way. He comes in. Will he kick the goal? He does kick the goal. Lilydale win. Have a look at the boys get around him. What a sensational finish to a game. Oh, what an epic clash out here at Tormore Reserve. On the siren, Lilydale win by 1 point. Amazing stuff.
Unbelievable finish. What a fantastic finish. Gav Casey.
And come in for a sec. How's that for a finish?
I don't even know what to say, Gav. Yeah, unbelievable effort. Unbelievable. 2 late goals as well. And yeah, we just took the punt, ran forward, and geez, we're lucky. Yeah, very.
Was it in the right man's hands right at the end there?
Oh, absolutely. Lowy, he's one of our co-captains, a terrific leader, and I knew he was going to kick that, so yeah.
Well done. You must be feeling high.
Thank you.
What a magnificent effort by Lilydale. 42 points down, 15 minutes into the third quarter. And ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe it. They have got up on the last kick of the day with the siren gone. Bradlow, the co-captain, has taken the mark. 15 metres out from goal, and he slotted it straight through the middle. And Lilydale are into a preliminary final, Ray Baird, and Jeepers.
Look, all credit goes to Lilydale. They certainly, they were behind the 8 ball at half time, and and even 10 or 12 minutes into that third quarter, they were getting absolutely beaten. But then Bayswater, I think that they've got a lesson to learn out of this, because when you have a side down, you don't take your foot off the pedal, and they certainly took their foot off the pedal, and they showed contempt the way they played that ball in across that half back line, which was a turning point in the game in that third quarter.
Well, that is going to sting Bayswater for the next 6 months before they've got a chance to redeem themselves in round 1. To lead the game by 42 points and go down in those circumstances, it's just you wouldn't read about it. It's sensational for Lilydale. They were down and out, and that turning point in the game when in the third term, Ray, when Wilson nailed that goal in the third term, it was all Lilydale from there, and then Bayswater breathed a bit of life back into themselves in that last term, but sensational circumstances. Let's go down to Gav Casey, boundary side.
Not the hero of the moment, the skipper, Brad. How nervous were you kicking that, or were you knew you would do the job?
Nah, a bit nervous, yeah, pretty nervous to get the job done, but I just gave it a me all, went back and just tried to kick it as straight as I could.
And what about that third quarter where you were 6 goals down, but when Wilson got that spoil, and it was almost like it was a fire starter in that third term, and you just went alight for a good 10 minutes in that third quarter.
Yeah, that's it. We just said we got to go for it and just go for the win with 40 points down. We just had to do everything we could to just get in front for that third quarter.
And that last couple of minutes, it didn't look like you'd get a shot, but it came to you and you laid the tackle on Galvin. Were you a bit surprised to get the free kick, or was?
I seen him going the other way, back on his right foot. I knew he would, so I just tried to tackle him as hard as I could, and spilled out and got the free kick.
Well, it's a fantastic game. Well done, and looking forward to next week. It's going to be interesting against Upper Ferrington Gully.
Yeah, it's always a good contest. We played them a few weeks ago, a hard game over there, so hopefully we can get over the line next week.
Well done. Enjoy the night, then think about it later.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
That was the hero, Brad Lowe.
Thank you, Gavin Casey. Sensational to hear from the hero, Brad Lowe. What a moment for him in his career, Ray. It's every boy's dream, isn't it, when they're kicking the footy around in the backyard to kick the winning goal after the siren. And in a big final like today as well, an elimination final. If that kick were either left or right, they wouldn't be playing footy next week, Lilydale. They'd be done for season 2018. We were just talking, well, he's left the caravan now, but Brash, about either one of these sides be very stiff to lose today. Bayswater, they gave it everything. Their season's done now. What do you make of their season?
Look, their season's been very good, really, because they've had an up and down season. They've got into 4th place and they've done extremely well in this final, but they've got a lot to learn out of today. I think they can take it away. You just certainly do not take your foot off the pedal in finals, and I honestly believe, Dan, that they did do that. They started to muck around with the ball, and that's something that Paul McCormick wouldn't be very happy about. All the Bayswater faithful, you're 40-odd points in front halfway through a third quarter in a final. You certainly don't give up the lead. But look, they fought back and they hit the front again, within time. But all in all, look, I think the main thing is that football's been to win it here today.
Oh, it certainly has. Let's go down to Gav Casey, who hopefully has the song for us. Roll out the barrel.
Might struggle with the
audio.
The audio here. Just went for a quick walk through the crowd. I tell you what, amongst the Bayswater supporters, that decision just in the last minute with Ryan Harvey, they thought that was he was off, but that's the beauty of football. Here we go.
There's the song.
Well, it seems to be cutting in and out, so
we'll keep going.
Might have to kill that. But one man I think who'd be breathing a sigh of relief at the moment, Paddy Klepp. In the last minute when he had the ball in range, he popped it inside forward 50 though, and the kick was cut off.
Yep.
On the last line of defence by Bayswater before they sent it back out. Can you imagine if the circumstances hadn't have fell the way that they did, how he'd be feeling right now? Instead, he'd be feeling the absolute opposite. But such a complete performance from Lilydale today. It's hard to fault one player on the ground. They all played their role, particularly after half-time when their season was on the line.
Yeah, look, and I think, Dan, there's probably one guy, I think, for Lilydale that really did probably play 4 quarter. He was up against it all afternoon, but he toiled manfully. I thought, what's his name? The ruckman. I thought he was. He played really well tonight. Bo Mitchener.
He always plays well, doesn't he? Whenever we've seen him, he's always been very dominant in the ruck and a key figure in Lilydale's performance. He's such a. He'd be pushing for ruckman in the Division 2 Team of the Year, I reckon, this year.
Yeah, and you look at. Look, they were probably there, and probably Sam Baker early on too, Dan. He had a good first half when the chips were down. He was still going gung ho himself, so he was winning some crucial ones. But a lot of the Lilydale players, they really just come into it from about that 10-15 minute mark, because before then they just weren't near it.
Well, they weren't completely missing for 2.5 quarters. That's the fact of the game. Okay, they stood up at the end, but where were they in that first 2.5 quarters? Because they were certainly, they got a football lesson.
Let's go to Tim Fitzsimons with some around the ground scores.
Yeah, it's full time in the Division 1 elimination final, and it's Blackburn heading off to next week to face Doncaster 14-16-100, defeating Rowville 9-8-62. So it's season over for Rowville. And in Division 3, the last quarter, it's Ringwood with a comfortable lead over Scoresby. So they look set to go through to the grand final in 2 weeks' time. 12-12-84 to Scoresby, 6-7-43. So Scoresby will be facing Baronia next week in the elimination final.
Yeah, and look, that's we've pulled the right string this weekend, Dan. The 2 games we've had.
We struck the wrong chord last weekend, but we've gotten it right this weekend. 2 cracking games. It's so great for the competition, isn't it? That a final could play out the way it has. It's just a tremendous footy, and it's no wonder that Eastern Football League is the #1 metropolitan competition in all of Australia.
Yeah, look, when we constantly produce classic matches like this every week. Tell you what, I reckon I might need a quadruple bypass by the end of the season.
And that's just after having the lovely food that we see all around the grounds here at local footy, the burgers, the dim sims, but the games themselves. What a sensational display. And it's looking at Bayswater though, Brash. I mentioned before that this one's going to sting for the next 6 months and sting big time. I just spoke about how Lilydale, it's hard to fault one of their players on the ground. Bayswater are in the same boat. I don't think they could have tried any harder than what they did. They absolutely gave it everything. And chatting to Ray before about Bayswater's season, where do you see Bayswater's season now that it's all done and dusted and they finished 4th?
Well, they finished 11-7, and I guess that's probably why they finished 4th, because of the fact that when they have I think one of the big things with Bayswater this year than in previous years is when they've had sides on the throttle or on the gas, so to speak, they haven't put them away. And I think that's part of the reason why this season, I honestly thought today, I thought that their experience would have got them over the line in this encounter. And I'm not trying to show any disrespect for Lilydale whatsoever, because congratulations to them. It's amazing what happens when youth finds a little bit of self-belief. And I think I really could sum up, let's not really underestimate that third quarter. That turnover really was their undoing.
Well, let's cross boundary side to Gav Casey.
Well, he didn't have the final shot at goal, but I reckon he started the momentum change. And Lockie Wilson, that effort in the third term where you smothered and chased down and you hooked it around for that goal, it was only the second goal of the game. You weren't getting a kick before that, you said to me. So what about the way that moment changed it all for Lilydale?
Look, to be honest, you're right. I wasn't getting a body kick for the first 2.5 quarters, so... But I don't know, it's just about not giving up for us. I think we came in at half-time and, obviously disappointed with how we were playing. They slowed us up, but to their credit, they stopped what we want to do. But I think we just never gave up. And I don't know if it was that moment or a different moment, but we never gave up for 1 second, and that's why the result was.
And if we're talking about moments for you, you've hooked it around from the boundary. You were on fire in that third term.
Yeah, I got a bit excited after that, but... Yeah, I don't know. It was a bit of a fluke, to be honest.
But what about them slowing you down? They had 33 uncontested short passes and marks in the first term. They sort of kept it off you, and you like to get up and running, but you had no chance in the first half.
No, that's exactly right. They slowed the game down for us and cut us up, to be honest. I think we probably were just letting them hit the easy one, not thinking that they're going to hit one if they got a metre on their player, but... I think once we realised that and started working and not giving them an easy option, then it just shut their game down and give us a good run at it.
Before I hand it to the guys in the broadcast box, Brad Lowe, the man that had it, did you see the tackle and were you really confident that he was going to do the job?
Absolutely, I was confident he was going to do the job. He had a massive 3 quarters or 4 quarters before that, but yeah, I was confident he was going to kick the goal.
Guys in the broadcast, you want some questions for Lockie?
Yeah, Lockie, 12 months ago this time you were coming off the ground very dejected, having lost an elimination final to Mooralbark. 12 months on, it's a contrasting emotion, isn't it?
Oh, for sure, mate. I think that was a big spurring point for this week especially, and look, probably since this time last year that we've been working hard to want to get back to this position and then not let that happen again.
I'd love to know what was said in the rooms at half-time. You went in 1-7-13, 5 goals down to Bayswater, who was 6-7-43. What did Ben Nagle exactly address at half-time?
He pretty much just said to believe, and that if we, we know if we get the ball going our way quickly that we can score really fast, and we did. It was just about not giving up, and if we keep working as hard as we did, that we can get the job done.
Lockie, congratulations, a fantastic effort.
Thanks, mate.
One of the things that I liked about the side's win today is I actually think it was a victory for self-belief, a self-belief in the young Lilydale side that's coming through, because you could have easily thrown the towel in and let Bayswater do what they like, but the young blokes, they found something this afternoon, didn't they?
Oh, spot on, mate. Look, we're a young group, obviously, but we've been together for 3 or 4 years now. And you're right, it's just about self-belief. We knew that if we got it back on our terms that we were good enough to come back and win the game. So, yeah.
There was a couple of blokes that I'd like to mention that were really good for you when things weren't going your way. The big ruckman, Bo Missioner, he had to carry a lot today with Brandon Drossler out and young Sam Baker off that half-back line. He kept giving you something when there was nothing there early on, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Look, Bo's obviously a tremendous player and, very vital to our side. And Sammy, you know what you're going to get from him, whether it's 1 effort, 2 effort, 3 effort. He just never gives up and gives it a great option.
What do you think... What do you think's actually possible now? I mean, look, you got to come up against Upper Gully last week. They'll be smarting after losing next week, but really, you go into this game next week with really nothing to lose now, don't you?
Oh, look, absolutely. Look, as I said before, if we get it on our terms, I'm fully confident that we can get the job done. It's just about having a big week on the track and going in Upper Gully with a bit of confidence.
I think one of the important things too, Lockie, is the belief in the coach. Now, Ben, when we watched Ben play, he was a really a never say die guy. He always kept playing the game out right to the last contest, and there's a lot of similarities with the way that he's instilled that into your playing group. I guess when it comes down to it, he certainly has really worked his magic with this young bunch of guys.
Oh, look, absolutely. Nangas came on when we were down and out, really. We lost a coach halfway through a year and he got thrown into it. And the whole playing group just has the absolute utmost respect for him. And we play for him, like we really do, where we haven't probably for other coaches in other years.
We were saying off air before too, that, look, there's such a terrific vibe coming out of the Lilydale Football Club. You've got so many juniors coming in, right? And it almost feels like, Lockie, that some of the older guys who have been great stalwarts of the club might be getting the tap on the shoulder because there's a new breed in town up at Lilydale, and they're looking for spots up there now, aren't they?
Oh, look, probably 80% of our side is homegrown. And that's a big focus. We don't go out and buy players and, Yeah, we don't go and buy players and we stick with what we got. And, yeah, that's why we're in the position we're in. It's a good young club and hopefully big exciting things in the future.
Well, Lockie, fantastic effort there today by the Lilydale Football Club. Get in there with your mates and enjoy the moment and get ready for another big clash next Saturday afternoon against Upper Ferntree Gully.
Thanks very much, boys. Cheers.
There you have it, Dan. Lockie Wilson, co-captain of the Lilydale Football Club. What just that moment of inspiration was the catalyst for something better to come, wasn't it?
Oh, it certainly was. And, you might not be getting a kick in a game, but when your moment comes, you take it. And that's exactly what he did, as we saw with Zippy King yesterday. But let's cross boundary side again to Gav Casey. He's with the ruckman, Bo Mitchener.
Yeah, Bo's got to be one of the best players on the ground. I think in the third quarter, getting your hands on the ball was very important for your side because you started on smaller ruckmen, starting to direct your taps, and you started to get it going out of the stoppages.
Yeah, that's correct. Well, I feel we had like a bit of dominance all day, but we were getting it down, but they were just winning in the coalface. So that was a big emphasis at half-time to, sort of use our bigger bodies inside and, as you said, started going our way in the third quarter. And, we just somehow come out with the chocolates at the end of the day.
Well, I think there was about 3 big moments. One of them was when Wilson, I think you just had a sense that you might be able to pressure them into a mistake, and then Wilson got the second goal in the third quarter, and then he booted one from the boundary. It was almost like Lilydale were on fire just after that first moment when Wilson got the smother and converted from there.
Yeah, it's true. He's a bit of our barometer, Lockie, when he's up and running in the forward line. We put him full forward, and yeah, he had a big impact down there. He's really heart and soul. When he's up, we're up, and yeah, just got a good run on the third quarter and held on in the last.
Well, you talk about that moment when the skipper Lowe tackled Galvin and he had the ball in his hands. Were you confident or were you nervous for everyone?
Well, I didn't think Lowy had it to start with. I thought Baldy number 10 had it, and no offence to Baldy, I turned my back. I thought he's not kicking this, but then Lowy had it. He's not a bad kick generally, but I gave him a 5 out of 10. But yeah, I still couldn't watch. So I turned around and heard them all celebrating. So yeah, that went through.
And before I hand it over, what's that moment like? You go from nervous about a result to pure jubilation. What's the feelings as he kicks it through?
Oh, just joy, pure joy. Because we didn't think we were gone at half time. We knew if we had a good third quarter and held in the last, we were there. But our energy wasn't there today. And yeah, to get the win at the end of the day, it's as good as it gets.
Boys in the broadcast booth, questions for Bo?
Yeah, I've got plenty for Bo. Bo, congratulations. You've had a really good season. You've stepped up to the plate and assumed the number 1 ruck mantle. You missed your probably partner in crime in Brendan Drossler today, but Alan O'Donoghue really gave you good support when you needed it.
Yeah, he did. Ads has been in. He's been in most of the season, but today's definitely his best game. He's a big boy. He just really asserted himself around the ground, and yeah, he had a really good game. With so much
of you around the same age and growing up together, it almost seems like that there's a little bit of you just seem to be able to preempt or know what's going on amongst this young group of guys. I gather the camaraderie off the field is just as good as what it is on the field.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's always that little sixth sense. Even when I'm in the ruck, because I play with Bryce Batty and halves elsewhere, and you just sort of you know where to put it, you know where they want it and stuff like that. But yeah, like you said, just a bit of a sixth sense.
When you've come up against the Upper Ferntree Gullies and the Doncaster East, and you have actually held your own. When the club was going through that little bad patch just towards the end of the season, were you a little bit worried that you weren't going to be able to regain that form that got you to where you were?
We were, but at the time, in the 4 games, we weren't playing bad footy. We were just for patches for half quarters, so the rest of the game was all right. But if we knew we cleaned it up for half quarter, well, we did it again today. We played 2 or 3 bad quarters of footy and had a few good quarters. But yeah, we knew if we could sort of play consistent footy, we might be able to get over the line.
Bo, congratulations on the win, mate. A fantastic comeback effort there. But looking forward to next week, do you think it's a worry the way you started today, or is it just a one-off performance?
I wouldn't call it a worry. It wouldn't be handy going in next week and starting like that, but we're generally not too bad start being young, but well, we'll see what happens.
Well, Bo, a fantastic effort by yourself and the Lilydale boys today. We're in absolute awe, mate. 42 points down 15 minutes into the third quarter. I don't think we've seen a comeback like that in a finals game for a while. Go and enjoy the moment with the boys. Enjoy tonight, but in mindful fact that you got a big preliminary final coming up next Saturday against a wounded foe who will be hell-bent on getting on winning that game and getting into a grand final.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for that, boys. Have a good night.
There you have it. Bo Michino, one of the stars today. He was a star for Lilydale when things weren't going his way, Dan. He's
so tireless, isn't he? The way he's able to lumber around the ground, tirelessly win hit-outs and have a presence around the ground and run around all day. It's a wonder he doesn't get puffed out. He's a sensational athlete. But let's go down to Gav Casey again. He's got another guest, Patrick Klepp.
Yeah, we've got Pat here. And Pat, you were trying to get the kick at goal, but it finished up with Lowe. How did you feel when he had it in his hands and the win was there for the taking?
When Lowe had it, I was pretty confident, actually. But then I thought I threw it away when I kicked it to them on the flank there. I must admit, when I did that, I thought, here we go. I've thrown it away. And then, we got the free kick, and then Lowe had the goal. So, I was pretty confident, to be honest, with that angle and whatever, but couldn't have got any closer.
And did you have a sense that when the ball was in your hands, there was only a minute to go? What was the feelings that you could get one more shot at it? How was the last minute for you?
When I had that mark, I thought, I didn't think there was long left. I knew that, but I knew I was just too far out. Then Brycey was running past for a handball, and I thought he was too far out, and I've gone, I saw heels, and I've gone, I'll hit that. It wasn't the case, but yeah.
And was there a wind that was holding up the kicks? It looked like from 40, you guys weren't confident you'd get the journey.
Yeah, it was sort of coming across the ground from that far pocket to the club ends pocket. Yeah, so I thought into the wind. Yeah, it was pretty hard to kick a goal from there. It was sort of swirling around a little bit as well.
And I've been talking to all the guys about that third quarter. Obviously, Wilson had a great third quarter, but Mitch, who we just spoke to in the interview, he started winning it in the middle for you. It almost like you took inspiration out of those guys' efforts.
Yeah, they were awesome in the third quarter, and just all the mids, I think, just turned it on, and we just started winning the ball, winning the hard ball. So, and then that effort from Willow there to get the smother and kick the goal, I think that really changed the momentum after that.
Yeah, it did for sure. Guys, questions for Pat?
Yeah, Pat, talking about that momentum in the third quarter, I know momentum is hard for a player on the field to assume, or did you ever feel like, though, that there was going to be a time where you hadn't played your best football, but you were going to get another crack at it?
I thought if we could get it on our terms and we get the momentum in our hands, we can score quickly. I thought that. So when we started to get a bit of a run on in that third quarter, we started playing our footy, started moving it fast. I think, I knew we could come back from that, but they were just all over us in the first half. But I knew once the momentum swung, it's a hard thing to bring back again. So, yeah.
I think one of the other things too, which has probably been very impressive. Look, they were very physical at you early on in the contest, and they hit you hard, and they were winning all those little 50-50s, and the ball was rolling their way. Yeah, even though you couldn't hit a target yourself or the whole team, there was still a little bit of belief there that if you got your moments, that you could still hurt them, and you did that, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. They definitely did play better than us in the first half, and they were winning it at the coalface. But yeah, as you said, I knew if we could get the bit of momentum and get it on our terms, we're all confident at half time that we could turn it around. It was just a matter of time, and if we did it early enough to have enough time to come back from the deficit that we had.
And talking with, we're quickly talking to Ben Eagle. Did his message really stay the same regardless of whatever the situation was at each of the breaks? Was the message, just keep hanging in there, your turn will come, and then you've got to take your opportunities? Was that message rammed through the afternoon?
Yeah, it was pretty much the same message the whole way from the first, from before the game, quarter time, half time. We knew if we could play our footy, we thought we were better than them. If we could play it on our footy and get it on our terms. And yeah, the message didn't really change throughout the game too much. It was just a matter of time.
Paddy, fitness is a massive thing in footy, particularly in finals when you've got to dig deep. Lilydale strike me as one of the fittest sides going around in Division 2. Every time we've seen Lilydale play, they've found themselves in a hole, but they've been able to fight their way back and pinch victory at the death knock, or almost do so. The training that you guys must have gone through after last year's defeat to Muralbach in the final series, that would have stung for the 6 months afterwards, but also that would have driven you forward and to train harder and get a fitness edge.
Yeah, definitely. I think after that loss last year against Muralbach, it really burnt in a couple of us, the guys who played through that. And then we thought, once we got back at pre-season, whenever November or whatever, we thought that's the start of a new season. We've got to make amends for that loss last year. And then all the work we did throughout the season as well, just to throw it away today would have been a bit of a waste. So it was really good to come out and, in that second half, and turn the game around.
Well, Paddy, absolute pleasure talking to you after the match, and congratulations not only to yourself but the Lilydale boys. Enjoy the night and prepare yourself for a big preliminary final next weekend.
Thanks for having me, boys.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Paddy Clapp, half-back off the Lilydale Football Club, and a fantastic effort, BWS. What a finish to the weekend, eh?
What an epic weekend of EFL finals action. It has been absolutely superb. Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, so just recapping them full-time scores in Division 1, it was Blackburn 14-16 100 to Roeville 9-8 62, and it was Ringwood defeating Scoresby in Division 3 12-12 84 8-9 57.
It's pretty convincing wins for both those sides this afternoon, gentlemen. I think we're looking forward to another exciting weekend coming up, I reckon.
Oh, there's weeks of excitement ahead, Wayne Brasher. Tim?
Yeah, so that confirms next week's fixtures. So in Division 1, it'll be Vermont against South Croydon, as we already know, at Bayswater on Saturday. Sunday, it'll be Doncaster versus Blackburn in the knockout semi-final. Division 2 next Saturday here at Tormore Reserve will be Upper Furniture Gully against Lilydale. And Division 3, it'll be on Sunday, Scoresby against Baronia in the prelim final out at East Burwood. And then Division 4, Saturday, the grand final at Walker Park, Whitehorse Pioneers against Glen Waverley Hawks.
And of course, on the media team, we'll be covering the Division 4 grand final next Saturday, and then we'll be out at Division 1 once again to see Doncaster take on Blackburn next Sunday. So we're already looking forward to those matches. Great job by Gavin Casey on the boundary line this afternoon, and especially having a chat to some pretty happy Lilydale footballers. I was rounding them up for him, and they were absolutely ecstatic. There's some pretty upset and fair enough to be Bayswater supporters out there, but when there's one good story, there's one bad story that goes with a game like today. Let's have a look at our votes for this afternoon. Coles Meyer, $50 gift card going to the Tobin Brothers Player of the Day. I'm going to start with you, Ray Baird. How did you see your votes play out today?
Well, look, mine are probably going to be different to what you guys, because I know you guys, but I'm looking at over four.
Do you really?
No, I'm looking at over 4 quarters of football. Okay, good luck to
we
Lily.
don't?
Okay, so, no, I know, but I know which way you guys head anyway. And let me finish. One vote I gave to Ryan McNay. I just thought he was a very good player for the Lilydale Football Club. He got 1 vote for mine. 2 votes I gave to Hayden Schroeder, because for 2.5 quarters he was the dominant player up there on the half back line. He did everything for his side, and it was not up to him why they got beaten. And 3 votes I gave to the guy who just owned the football today, Wayne McInerney.
Fair enough, Ray. Well said.
Yeah.
We'll see if we agree or disagree.
Exactly.
Wayne Brasher, how did you see your 3, 2 and 1 today?
Well, I gave 1 vote to the Duck. I thought he controlled the back line. I thought he was excellent. My 2 votes goes to Sam Baker. I thought...
I agree. He was very excellent today.
When the chips were down and things weren't going their way, he stood tall, won some crucial contests, right? And even though... And he was trying something. And that's what Lilydale were needing. But he put his body on the line, and I thought he was really worthy of my 2 votes. And I'm giving my 3 votes to the big ruckman, Bo Mitchner. I thought in the first half, he broke even in the first half, and even though his midfield wasn't getting the full benefit of his hard work, in the second half he just went up another little bit of a level, and the rest of his midfield and on ball and forwards, they fed off his enthusiasm, and he got him back into the contest, and I'm giving him my 3.
Gavin Casey, who was on the boundary line this afternoon, 3, 2 and 1.
Yeah, from ground level, I think I'm inspired by who made the comeback. So I give McInerney Bayswater's best, a 1 vote, and then 2 votes to Wilson. I just thought sometimes special events are caused by individuals, and I reckon he was very influential. So I have to give him votes based on that. And I think the ruckman, he did start to dominate, and even before they started to get the score on the board, you could just sense he was just dominating the tap out. So I have to give it to Mitchner, best on ground.
Actually, Gav, that you're probably right, because that smothering that by Wilson actually reminds me of a Peter Bazzasto smothering goal in one of the big finals for Carlton many years ago. It was very similar to that, and that was inspiring.
Peter Bizzusto was one of the guests with Peter Donegan on Where Are They Now on 11:16 SEM, one of our sponsors. So there you go. That was a good segue. Dan Sensick, your 3, 2, 1 today.
Yeah, look, I gave 1 vote to Wayne McInerney. I thought he was super down back for Bayswater. Really played that general role, and he was fantastic, very solid. 2 votes I gave to Bo Mitchener. The way he controlled the ruck contest, huge difference in the end, and the way Lilydale were able to get back into the game. But my 3 votes go to Lockie Wilson. When they needed something, the Falcons, he gave them that spark midway through the 3rd term to get them back from a long way down. Kicked a couple of crucial goals too. He never stopped trying all day. His pressure acts were fantastic, so he's my best on ground.
Yeah, I just want to add to that, Dan. I just got a text through from Matt Fodia, who also agreed that Lockie Wilson was best on ground from his vantage point, and he was pretty ecstatic with the after the siren win.
Should be concentrating on playing cricket up there in Queensland, Matt Fodia, but he did enjoy it. I mirror your votes today, Dan. I gave 1 vote to Wayne McInerney, 2 votes to Bo Mitchener, and I absolutely agree that Lachlan Wilson was the best on ground today.
Just quickly before we go, we called in the last quarter. Did Paul McCormick, should he have pulled the trigger and put McInerney, who is a proven match winner and goal kicker, should they have bitten the bullet and put him in the final?
I don't think so, because he was playing his role. He's received votes. And before you chime in with another question, I'd like to announce who wins our Tobin Brothers Player of the Day today, and that is going to the big ruckman Bo Mitchener today, who gets 10 votes.
Yep.
Very closely behind was Lachlan Wilson with 8. So congratulations to Bo Mitchener, a very happy man, and Gav, you couldn't have wiped the smile off his face when he was talking to you, and I was having a good chat before he came on air as well. The Trojan Workhorse $150 toolkit going the way of a 4-quarter performer today. Who's putting their hand up?
Oh, jeez. I think I reckon that I thought Lowe, the captain, I thought he really worked hard in the second half to really get not only himself in the game, but to inspire his team. I'd go with him. That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, I'm going to overrule that. Lachlan Wilson gets the Trojan toolkit this afternoon.
Well, you told me to put it out there.
The only reason being is Brash. No, and it's a fair point. But I think that when Wilson and Mitchener have been given votes right across the team, I think let's give it to potentially what we've called it as the 2 best players on the ground, and
that's
they
fine.
Deserve their awards. Today we're about to round up what was an unbelievable weekend of football. How much fun was it? It doesn't get much better than two games called within a kick, and we've all been pretty much involved right throughout the weekend. Tim Fitzsimons, you've done a fantastic job, mate. Boundary yesterday, social today, and of course on EFL Sunday also. Already looking forward to next week.
Yeah, thanks BWS. So am I. It's hopefully get just as good a games next week as we did this weekend.
Ray Baird, you've lived at Tormore Reserve this weekend, Division 2. How's it stacking up?
Yeah, no, look, I had a terrific time come out here. Saw your side, Donny East, yesterday, and saw Lilydale fight back today. Terrific effort.
Wayne Brasher, love your work, mate. The stats that matter and everything else in between. You're a star.
Thank you very much. Look forward to being all a part of it next weekend.
And of course, Dan Sensi, can't wait for next week.
My pleasure, thank you.
Leroy Green from LKLM Media, the best in the business, with our extra set of eyes doing all the media work, and of course Michael Loughlin doing a marvellous job for the Loft Productions. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast right throughout the weekend. We'll be back next week. We can't wait.